Hello, what is up?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We are joined by a sloth. Hey, Casey.
Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic.
Welcome to the Castle Super Beast. Appreciate you jumping on with us. This is our first VTuber guest.
I guess
awesome.
that's technically accurate.
That is the case. I mean, I have a rig, but I have not yet.
You used that rig the one time.
It's very difficult. It's very complicated. It involved getting a VR headset and base stations and arm trackers and a belt.
What?
It was a whole lot of tech.
Just point your iPhone at your face.
So there's the face tracking version of it that I had as well, but the full body thing for the 3D thing was way more complicated than just the face rig setup. So
what I'm hearing is that you spent 10 times as much work to get like 1% of the output.
I mean, there is a simplified version that is like available, and in fact, I would say the face rig kind of setup is it's definitely good enough. But I did like the ability to have like the 3D model, and the ability to like use that for other potential purposes or whatever. But yeah, I went in to figure out how to do that.
I see that your rig is working just fine.
It's working great.
Do you have a spaceship built around you to make that work?
I do not have the room for that kind of stuff at all. I've got a little webcam, and I bought Face Rig on Steam.
Yeah.
Like when it was like 75% off, like 5 years or more ago, and it's fine. It works okay.
That's crazy.
It's good. It's doing its job.
Well, thank you for being the hey.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Awesome.
So if anyone is unfamiliar with Casey, I know Casey primarily from her incredible recommendation lists on social media, in which I don't know how I asked you this. How do you keep up with the 400 indie games you cover a day?
Do you really want an answer, or
I would love an answer.
Okay, so I follow a lot of different indie developers, and they are very cool about sharing each other's work. And I'm also following a lot of other people who are like tuned into some of the weird indie games and stuff. And sometimes people just at me, and sometimes I'll just browse what's upcoming on Steam, and I just find stuff that's neat. And sometimes I'll just be looking at whatever certain publishers are coming out with. I'm always keeping an eye on. Shout out to Dave from New Blood, who's always
Dave from New Blood's
bangers.
Pretty cool, but he does come into my stream to make fun of me.
Oh yeah.
Not cool.
I didn't tell you about that. I was playing Dusk with controller, and I ran into some bugs that like only exist on controller, and I'm like, Dave, what's up with these? He's like, we don't have any of the testers play on controller because it's for babies.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah. I keep trolling Dave because he tries to send me early copies of games. I'm just like, nope, gonna buy it.
Nice.
But
Casey.
yeah, I play first person shooters with controller whenever I'm.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Whenever the option is there, because I am old. I get like a bit of RSI if I'm playing with mouse and keyboard too often. So anytime there's the option for controller, I'll take it. And some very, very, very cool first person shooters have great controller support, and some don't. Proteus.
Proteus feels really good.
Oh, that slaps. That feels really, really. There's a nice bit of snap to it. It like a little bit of snap too.
I feel like
I'm in a goofy spot with playing games on mouse and keyboard now, because in my house, whether or not I have access to the mouse or the keyboard depends on where the baby hid the mouse or keyboard. So I have actually like navigated my desktop using the Steam function where I hold the PlayStation button and move it around with the analog stick. because I can't turn anything off because he hid the mouse.
I mean, you have basically your home couch setup is like my streaming one, where you're like, it's a couch in front of a TV. This is not a table with a PC, you know. So it gets a lot less comfortable to deal with a mouse.
Well, yeah, but I also have
in that
a
situation.
tiny gnome that thinks it's really funny to take the mouse and like try and hide it in the bathroom.
It's funny because I'm just thinking of Ultra Kill and how like I feel every time there's like a controller issue or configuration bit, I feel like Hikita just seeing my complaints about something with the controller is like begrudgingly being like, fine, I guess we have to support this, you know, angrily. But like you can also put on the little warning message on Steam that's like, this game is better with a controller, you know, as a thing. And I'm like, thank God. I like seeing that. That's nice. Because I think just it's at this point been long enough that my childhood being based on Nintendo into Super Nintendo into the first, you know, 4 or 5 generations of controller usage, PC mouse and keyboard stuff is just always going to be like a second preference to, you know, wanting to hold a stick or a D-pad and buttons to play a game, you know, even if it's suboptimal in some cases.
This is such a good segue into talking about City of the Wharves, honestly, because I discovered over the weekend, over yesterday, whatever, the day before, Fatal Fury City of the Wharves. I really don't like that game at all.
Really?
Yeah, I really genuinely don't like it at all. And it comes down to like one thing. It's the controller. It's the controls. I do not like the way the controls are mapped out, and I can't find a way to map them out in a way that makes me happy.
Huh. Okay. I did find the defaults were not great for me, and so I ended up switching them up. So yeah. Okay. So I guess we'll jump into our Garou chat. All
right.
Right off the bat.
Casey, did you play Garou Mark of the Wharves or City of the Wharves?
No, I didn't. What is this one?
It is a sequel to Garou Mark of the Wolves from 1999, which is a game in the Fatal Fury franchise where Terry Bogard comes from. So,
okay, yeah.
So
I know who Terry Bogard is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who Terry Bogard is.
Son, isn't he? The actor.
That's the one. Nailed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. With the suit and the sharp dressing. And he's got a big red hat, and he tosses it around, and then every once in a while, like Street Fighter's Ken will pick it up and toss it back to him.
And he has no job and no prospects and a dead girlfriend.
Hey, she's fine.
Is she?
Yeah, she's totally fine.
I'm talking about Lily, man.
Oh, okay. The Blue Mary train is leaving the station and all aboard. Seems like that's the way things are going, you know?
Yeah, Blue Mary's fine.
But anyway, no. The latest Terry Bogard game has just come out. So in terms of the controls, I've always found that so SNK games that are 4 buttons make it really nice for a controller that has 4 buttons facing on it.
Absolutely.
And that felt, you know, much more comfortable than the dealing with triggers too much back in the day. But what I've found for my configuration on this, since I'm much more pad oriented on my fighting games these days, is I switched L2 and R2. The default for them is punches on R2.
It's a really strange default.
Kicks on L2, and I think it's because the thought is that most people have their trigger finger ready to go more often, so they would put them on that side. I swapped them so that punches are, you know, on the left side, kicks are on the right. And then I think what works best for the extra options for L1 and R1 is feint on L1 and rev on R1, so that you have your 2 braking options. That feels like the most comfortable way to play it right now. But so what issues are you having?
My problem is really simple. I don't like to do a motion and then click something with my left hand. Ever. And this is a 5-button game that uses EXs constantly. So back-to-back 2 punches, 2 kicks. Like, you know, special move and a special move and a special move. So my first thing was I'm like, I'll put R1 and R2, the right side trigger and bumpers, with the EX buttons. And so I basically turned it into Street Fighter with the hards, light, medium, hard, right? But then Rev, the button that does level 3s, overheads, and anti-airs, is now on L1, which is awkward as shit. And so I'm like, I'll put Rev on, because it's a 5-button game. It's not a 4-button game, right? Rev is your 5th button.
Yeah. So
I'm like, okay, I'll put Rev on R1, and then I'll have, or R2, and then my bumpers will be the EXs. And like doing EX into EX while using like L1 or L2 sucks for me. Like it is such a massive bummer that I'm like, I hate the feeling of playing the game.
Okay, so for me, I've basically I'm able to press square and triangle together with one finger, and same for X and circle at the bottom and such. I have
tiny little baby man hands. I can't do that.
Question,
because I have
though,
like a child's hands.
Question though, what do you do for Street Fighter? You still play on stick?
No, I play on pad on Street Fighter.
Okay.
So what I do on Street Fighter is I have all 6, light, medium, hard, going square, triangle, R1, and same thing for kicks. And when I do an EX move in Street Fighter, I'm hitting, for punches, I'm hitting R1 and square.
Yes, that's what I'm also...
And I'm hitting R2 and X for kicks.
That's also what I'm doing. But like you do have to do motions with that and the trigger, though.
Yeah,
right?
But nothing on my left hand. My left hand is for motions. My right hand is for buttons. I literally never use L1 and L2 in a fighting game ever in my entire life.
Okay, so in this case, you would need L2 for the 2 kicks, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which sucks. I don't want to do it
because the right side triggers are fine to do motions with.
Yeah. The right side of the controller is for fighting. The left side of the controller is for moving.
Yeah. It does, and I agree. It does feel awkward to do stuff with the L2. In particular, I think you can mostly avoid that input though if you I guess, are you able to hit the X and circle with your thumbs on the pad at the same time?
No, I don't want to. It's awkward. My finger like fits between the two because my finger isn't big enough because I have a tiny baby man's hand.
Okay. I mean,
remember when I was drinking those small Red Bulls on stream and people were like, wow, you need to cut down. I'm like, this is the small 250 ml Red Bull, but people thought it was the giant can because of my tiny hands. They're very small.
So there's a couple different ways, I guess. Like, I don't know if you're looking for solutions, there's perhaps. So
here's the other thing. I'm not looking for solutions.
So let me ask that first before I start trying any. Yeah.
Because on top of that, I don't like that the bread and butter combo system is EX into EX into EX.
Okay.
And like one of the things that it was really strange, and this is a warning to everybody out there. So I thought I really liked City of the Wolves. I thought I really, really liked it until I played it by myself and then realized that every time I had ever played City of the Wolves before that, I had played it with you, Wooly, where I was like hanging out with a friend of mine of 20 years playing fighting games. And, yeah. But then when I actually went to play it, like, ranked matchmaking, I was like, it's fine, I guess. It's okay. And then the controller foibles, and I'm like, I should just go play Street Fighter if I want to play a fighting game. And also, Street Fighter doesn't have that fucking human garbage over there on the character select.
That's a very compelling extra bit that I would say, yes, applies to this game as well, right? No fucking Ronaldo.
And also, Virtua Fighter's only 3 buttons. You can do a whole fighting game with just 3 buttons. It's all you need.
In terms of the control stuff, yeah, again, there's potential solutions, but again, if you're not really looking for one, then that's fine. I think the EX system with of going from move into move and stuff is pretty good. I think it works well. I like that that's one of the major like new flavors that the game has, but everything else is very old school. So people that have been like fighting game fans for a while are kind of like looking for something that feels, you know, like a throwback fighter, and this is one of the best bets at that. This feels very retro, like the again, defensive options, the way you can do a lot of you can do a lot on defense and on offense, and it's very tame with like I guess comeback factors and things like that as well. So it definitely appeals to like, yeah, if you enjoyed fighting games in the late 90s to early aughts. And I do feel as well like I'm like the EX system, like I'm not sure what in particular is the part about it, but maybe is it because of the fact that you're having trouble doing it that's making that.
Oh, well, that's part of
an
it.
issue?
I mean, it's not fun when I try to do it and my hands feel bad and I go, ugh, I hate it.
Yeah.
Like that game has one too many buttons.
I wonder if you could like put like 2 punches and 2 kicks on, you know, L1 and R1 and R2 respectively, and kind of throw rev like on a different trigger, and then just have that be like, it's rarely being used as a part of a motion input, so you know what I mean? It could kind of be like, which of these buttons are you using most? You're going to use your 2 punch and 2 kick combinations more often, so put them on the R side, and then put the rev button.
Want to. Okay. And I mentioned this, earlier, and some folks were like, why don't you just get a fight pad or something like that? And it's like, that would probably solve my controls issue, but that is me spending like $80 on a game that I'm not sure I even like to figure out if I do like it, which when I have this other Street Fighter game over here that I know I like for sure.
A controller with 6 buttons up front would also, you know, help for sure, as would a stick, right? This is one of those things where for me, I'm finding less and less that there's games that I jump on stick for, but there still are some, you know, things that feel things that are Marvel based, that feel like Marvel versus Capcom to me, I kind of still jump back to a stick on, you know. So
are you playing on a stick for City of the Dwarves?
No, I'm not. I feel like I've gotten used to pad for most things now, but like I have so much muscle memory with like Marvel versus Capcom on a stick that like for that I still have to go back and do it, and similar for Dragon Ball Fighters as well. I still have to go back to a stick to play that game.
Hey Casey, let me ask you, because I saw a question in the chat that opened this up to a broader question in my mind. Yeah. Somebody said that Pat has a really simple system where if the game feels bad to control at any point, he just pulls his parachute. How do you feel about that? Like game feel as an extreme, because fighting games are like literally nothing but round to round combat, and so if I have a bad icky feeling, I just go and I'm like, I'm done, I'm completely done. Because you're playing so many weird indie games, do you have like a higher tolerance for like jank game feel or what?
Probably, but I kind of get what you mean. Sometimes if something rubs me the wrong way, I'm just feeling it, and yeah, that's me out. Folks in the chat asking, do I play many fighting games? Not like, I'm more old school, so I'm happy just to let Pat and Wooly talk about this, because
we have a problem.
Well, I was going to jump into it a little bit later, but Pat, you brought it up right away, so I'm like, okay, we're just going to go heavy into
about icky controls.
I know, but I wanted to like have a more inclusive conversation first before jumping into the deep end. But you're going right into it, so I had to follow.
I'm happy enough just sitting this one out because I got pizza, and
wish I had pizza. I should have eaten something.
I would share, but it's not going to fit into the. I've got a grill in front of the microphone. It's not going to fit in there.
This would be a great time for like a stuffed like sloth hand prop to like stick up from the bottom of Pat's camera. You know, Triumph the comic dog style. There you go.
But like this, I mean, he's not doing much today. Just
like a shaking kind of Muppet hand.
Yeah. All right, Wooly. You said you had a wider conversation you wanted to try.
No. I was gonna get to the fighting game stuff later. Is all I meant. That's all. But that's okay, because I did have. I mean, we can talk about the other part of this, which is 2XKO, in a little bit. But I did have some thoughts about, like, with Mark of the Wolves and, well, God, City of the Wolves.
Hey, I'm going to stop you there for a second. How often do you botch that? Because I botch it every single time.
I'm still saying Garou. I still say Garou. Like, I mean, it's.
I've said City of the Wharves every single time I've talked about that game.
Because it's been 20 plus years, you know, it's just baked in at this point. When I say Garou, though, I think most of the time people know what I'm talking about, because in most cases you're not talking about the game from, you know, yonder. But yeah, I don't think it feels bad. I think it feels great. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's like a very nice. It's not. I'm glad that this kind of game exists in a time when, you know, fighters are like fairly modern and like leaning in towards like the new things the genre can do. It's not. I do like the idea of building something that has like a backbone that's structurally traditional, but still has like some flair to it, you know. And of course, it's also just satisfying to like see these characters after all this time again. And you know, there's a part of that like the nostalgia value there too. Yeah, it's a bummer about the controller issue you're describing there. I mean, again, I do feel like there's
part of that is obviously me, but I do feel the game's a little bloated with buttons.
I mean, they added a fifth one. A lot of games are 6-button games these days, so it doesn't. I don't feel it's that big a thing.
So here's the thing: I don't think that is a 5-button game, because EXs are so important. That feels like a 7-button game.
So, I also think this is where arcade stick usage comes into play, where it's like, you know, if you're playing Street Fighter 6, you have drive impact on one L2 button or L1 and wherever you set it, and then you have your parry over there as well. But you're using the shortcuts for those, right? So this is a game where you can use the 5 to do everything you need to. You can do breaks or feints or EXs, whatever you need with just those 5. So if you're playing with stick, you're usually combining the 2, and you're only going to use those extras if, you know, you are having a hard time not combining them or so. But I think this is more or less you're the first person I've heard mentioning this as an issue, and I do think that, like, it's also, again, something that can work if you're on a stick or so.
You don't know that many people with tiny child's hands.
No, but I mean, there are solutions to this issue, I think. But I overall, but that part aside, taking a look at what the game has, the things that stand out to me the most that are like worth talking about is the fact that you can edit colors on your characters is awesome. So great. And basically,
except for that one guy.
So because what if you put him in the wrong soccer uniform? What if you put him in the wrong footy uniform, you know?
That would be wrong to do.
That would be terrible. So basically, Casey, like, for a long time, you know, you in a fighting game, you'd have a bunch of different colors available, and then there were a couple that came along back in the day, like Capcom versus SNK is one of them, where you could go in and edit the characters to be whatever costume colors you wanted, you know? In fact, I want to say that there was a moment in Japan where there was a competition and somebody made Cammy's outfit like all flesh colored in the arcades back in the day, or in a console like tournament back in the day, and Capcom was like, we didn't expect this. You know, and having a naked looking sprite jumping around was a problem, so they might have been like, okay, we're never doing that again, you know, because of I think it was Aru and the Daigo was telling this story some time ago, but anyway, that was there was a moment with that, but like SNK, where the Terry Bogard games have always had these like little willingness to be like, go in, make your own outfit, color, costume, etc.
I remember you do it in KOF 11.
It's great.
Example.
It's great, yeah. And KOF 11 in particular, or KOF 13 that came out afterwards, like, because the sprites in that game were so beautiful and they had a whole new lighting system, they could even, like, in a lot of cases, it would be like almost like a Photoshop color swatch, where it'd be like, okay, anywhere that is red on my Shiranui, you can click on that and turn it blue. But in that game, in KOF 13, you could even go like, no, just the pants. I just want the pants to be one color, just the shirt to be another. And it was like very, very comprehensive. It was really awesome for like a color editor in a game, you know? So yeah, now a lot of games like sell you colors and kind of have it as a microtransaction to be like, you know, or something unlockable in some cases to be like, here's the different outfits and things like that. And in this case, there is going to be, it seems like, different overall outfits for the characters, but you can just jump into the color editor and make very top to bottom customized looks. And so when you go online, you're fighting against everyone's unique versions of their characters, you know?
You know what else you're going online to fight, Wooly?
Yeah.
You're going online into the only fighting game I've ever seen in my life that instead of giving you like a placement match, just goes, hey, are you good at the game or not?
Yeah.
And you just get to pick where you started matchmaking.
Yeah. It says like,
so you're fighting like 100 people in a row that are like fucking professionals that are like, I'm just a little baby. I'm just a little newcomer. I don't know how to play.
I mean, starting yourself out low while like knowing a lot is nuts. I mean, that's crazy, you know.
They have built a Smurf option into their fighting game. It is absolutely unbelievable.
I think there is the acceleration system though, where like a bunch of wins against much higher ranking things at a lower account clearly shows that you don't belong here, and we're gonna shove you out as quickly as possible, you know. If you are in any of the lower ranks and you like, you clearly beat people an entire tier above you, it's like, all right, just take the points and get out. You know, I think there's been one or two other games that have done that as well, where it's been like, hey, where would you like to start? You know, do you think you're a beginner? Do you think you're intermediate or advanced? And then from that point, there's still a whole bunch of way to go, because the highest you can pick, I think, is like the end of grade C, and then you go all the way up to like S and beyond. But anyway, but colors are really cool, seeing everyone, you know, coming in with their different looks right off the bat. And yeah, I took my time. I took Kane, and I made a little Dante and Virgil, you know, blue and red jacket. I made an Edgeworth colored, you know, like outfit for the character as well. Like, I went in there and had some fun with those colors, and I made a little JoJo, you know, color palette as well. So I like that you get that option on cosmetics right off the bat. And there's also, I guess, like, it's not quite Tekken level cowboy hat and floating bear and shotgun coming out level of goofiness. You know, it's kind of just like, it's still the outfit, but you're doing what you want with it.
Yeah, and their season pass is also incredible, which is there's no season pass. Characters will come out.
Everything for the first season is all included. And
that's great.
And the full game plus season pass is cheaper than all other base game fighting games right now.
That's great.
All right, so smart.
These are good things.
Smart move on that. I think as well, the fact that the game includes a whole lot of music from every previous entry in the Fatal Fury franchise is great, because I've, you know, like, listened to and heard some of the new music and stuff, and I'm enjoying it, but I definitely am like, oh man, I want to hear some old Mark of the Wolves. And it's weird too in a way, because I feel bad almost replacing the new songs, because I'm like, I'm not even giving them a chance to fully sink in, you know, because I'm so attached to the music from super long ago that I'm just shoving that in as part of the replacement OST. But it's almost like when Smash Brothers kind of allowed you to do that. You know, you go like, all right, every stage you can have a rotation of, you know, 5+ tracks on random. So if you go to the wrestling ring, you could choose the old wrestling ring theme or the new one, you know. And so I
just put that on like full random.
Oh, every track every time?
Every single track has an equal amount of chance showing up on every stage that allows it. Okay. Yeah, I specifically chose to make it so that the stages for the characters are like the alternating versions of those themes, you know? So there's that part as well.
there's a couple bits with like story mode. I don't know if anyone has seen it. I mean, whatever spoilers for if you're concerned.
I mean, the embargo literally was like, "Hey, be careful about spoilers."
Okay.
And I'm like, "It's a fucking fighting game. What do you what?"
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a Billy Kane is truly the goat of this world. Billy Kane is awesome, and I'm glad that Billy Kane is around and important and being cool, because I always liked him even from the beginning. As
I didn't realize he was shaving his head. Like his hair grew back.
Yeah, but he had it under the bandana.
Oh, I thought he was just bald as shit the whole time.
No. He just had a British bandana on, and that was it. You know.
Thought he was bald.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty dope as well. So anyway, I think this is gonna be a game that kind of is like in the same way that Samurai Showdown kind of existed, sort of like in the a little off to the side or so. I think this is something that'll be around as an alternate main stage fighter that can exist. And I think they did a really good job. Like, I'm not going to go too long and hard into the amazing stuff the game is doing defensively, but they came up with some brilliant stuff. Suffice to say that, you can the just defending feels really fun to do when you get good at blocking at the last minute, and then they even put in parries. Like, you can tap forward at the last second on a multi-hitting move to basically do a third strike parry, and you can get all the excitement of like what you could do in a game like Third Strike, the legendary Evo 137 type of thing. That's all possible in the way this game has been set up. And furthermore, it makes it so that like it's the opposite of kind of what Tekken 8 was recently doing with its busted patches, where offense was just the name of the game. In this case, if you're really good defensively and you can read your opponent, you can do amazing sick stuff that's going to look stylish as hell. So I'm glad that they've made the game, all of that. And boy, oh boy, there is Ronaldo.
Yeah. So, Casey, are you up to date on the Ronaldo soccer man in the Fatal Fury situation?
No idea about it. This is news to me. If it's fighting game stuff that is like in the last 20 years, maybe I'm completely out of tune, except for maybe Mortal Kombat. So I freaking loved fighting games back in PS1 era. That was where I was out.
So you're out in Europe, yes?
Yeah, I'm in Ireland, yeah.
Okay, so out there, y'all like your football.
Footy, even.
I am aware of it.
It does exist. Okay. Not everyone, but yes, all right.
The controversy about the inclusion of a very famous soccer player into the Fatal Fury game, City of the Wharves, is that he is an admitted rapist.
This is
in your fighting game.
Jesus, that's not good.
It's fucking horrendous and allegedly whatever, but it's like
allegedly admitted.
Legal allegedly. I've said it to my lawyer directly, and then it was thrown out of court, and then
leaked out.
Money was exchanging hands, and it's fucking garbage is what it is. And
so here's my question.
But it's also famous. It's also famous sports player. And so that is something that comes in and just tarnishes this game that has been very highly anticipated for 20 years now as a sequel to something from 2000. And it's just a garbage element of this whole thing.
So I have a question about this. I have been told that that Soccer Rape Man on the roster is actually a really strong character. Is that true?
He's a very strong character. He can kick the soccer ball. He can kick the soccer ball in a way that makes him particularly hard to defend against. Yes.
So what you're saying is that this is like the worst possible scenario for, like, I don't know, a tournament setting where you're going to see this dude a lot on the screen. at a major tournament.
I mean, look, Reggie and I have already said a couple times on stream that it's just like, yeah, good luck for commentary on this is gonna be wild.
Oh, it's gonna be exciting.
It's gonna be absolutely batshit. And furthermore,
this player character that would not be allowed to attend the tournament.
100%. I mean, literally the level of like, oh no, what if the character is someone you see very, very often and is not just some dumb addition. Furthermore, because it's not DLC, it's not like you can just be like, oh yeah, just don't include him there.
Just not download it.
It's in the base roster, so that's fucking garbage as well. So no, and so to the end of all of this, to be honest.
Oh no. Oh.
The kind of the bottom line on all this is, and when we first brought it up as well and stuff, where people were, if for anyone that was just like, yo, I'm out, I fucking hate that, it's like, absolutely, completely, totally, I get it, that is perfectly acceptable as a reason to be like, I fucking don't want to play that feels bad.
Like, I have my controller issues, and that's what put me off. But like, I have no desire to fight for this game with that dude in it.
That's always
it takes some of my like willingness to go, yeah, I'll push past it.
Yeah. As someone who is a very big fan of the fucking franchise with a tattoo of the circuit board of the previous entry of the game on my arm, I am someone who has always wanted and been waiting for this goddamn game for such a long time, and I'm happy that it is not a franchise that has gotten ignored and deleted, but the fact that you have to monkey's paw it back into existence with this part of it, and it's just never gonna be not a part of it. It just sucks because I'm like, this is the first time we've ever had this in this genre, in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the idea of overall of being like, well, guest characters as a whole now, just everyone needs to just chill on real life people perhaps getting put into games because of exactly this type of dog shit, you know?
I would like to apologize to Tekken for being so like mean about them putting in the Walking Dead character into Tekken.
And at the end,
in hindsight, you know what? That was great.
And at the end of the day, that is Negan, the character, not the actor, the human being, right? You can, there's always, you know, that bit, or there's even characters like, you know, the I forgot her name, but in King of Fighters 14, there was the eyeball idol that's like,
oh, that was like a VTuber or somebody,
not a VTuber, but a real J idol that like has concerts and stuff, and like it's a character inspired by her, you know, and excuse me, there's a couple other things like that as well over the years. So it's like, here's someone inspired directly by this person, or in some cases it'll be like basically an altered reality version of them, or it'll be voiced by them or so. Sylvie, yeah, there you go, that's the name. And you know, you still get a bit of that distance or so. What's kind of interesting is seeing how like everything with the other guest characters, Salvatore Ganacci, has people are like, yo, this guy's goofy and fun, and he actually likes the franchise and stuff.
Like his character seems really like stupid in like a goofy way.
Yeah, and so like, and that was one of those bits where like his animation looked really silly too, but it was like, oh well, that's on purpose. They're from the jump you could see that he's doing the animations that are meant to look silly, and then if you go look further, they're like, oh, this is all the way he moves in the music videos and everything. So it feels like people are like, okay, this goofball kind of DJ's funny man, you know, they're kind of turning the corner on that to some degree, and at least the guy likes the franchise and has something to do with it in a way. But it still doesn't change the fact that it's like, yeah, but both of these inclusions are basically because it was prescripted from Saudi Arabia top down.
I saw a great thread that was like, which is the worst fighting game character, Cristiano Ronaldo or Yoda from Soul Calibur? And it was like, oh man, what a shitty conversation to have.
Yoda was in Soul Calibur?
So
Yoda was in Soul Calibur 4 and he straight up ruined that game. It was crazy.
Because you could not hit him because Yoda was too small to be hit. It was like Odd Job in GoldenEye on the N64, you know,
It was terrible. It was terrible.
But the fact that Yoda is a Star Wars
Yoda's
character,
celibate.
a Star Wars character being in a Soul Calibur game was goofy as hell, and we're like, this doesn't fit at all. What the hell are we doing? But now, like, you don't feel a part of your soul die with
the
the
goalposts have
inclusion
been moved.
with the inclusion of Yoda in Soul Calibur. So I think we're gonna say that Yoda's fine, actually, in retrospect.
Yeah, I apologize to you, Yoda. You weren't as bad as it could get.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the guest characters in the Mortal Kombat series, because I don't know, not exactly everybody's favorite fighting game series, but since I was a kid, Mortal Kombat has been mine. I'm freaking pretty love the 11. You got RoboCop.
So
Casey, I want to say that you have done us an excellent service by, like, kind of allowing us to talk about our little fighting game toys, and then when you see, because you're not super familiar with the genre, and we're like, hey, what game do you actually like to play? Mortal Kombat. It's got RoboCop in it, and that is what Mortal Kombat is doing, and that's why it sells the most.
Also, the thing about Mortal Kombat's guest characters is that there's a thematic kind of connection in that they're all parts of that B movie we're willing to cross over with each other, like,
they
continuum.
had Spawn in it,
right?
Yeah, they got freaking Spawn, and they got Keith David to voice him as well,
which
like,
is perfect.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Old
Loved that Spawn cartoon show.
Old movies with, like, you got T-1000 and you got Predator and you've got Alien and you've got Conan.
I could see a movie in which the T-1000 fought the alien. Like, the Fox could have done that.
I bet you there's a comic book of it already existing, right? There's a RoboCop versus the Terminator Super Nintendo game. There's been Alien versus Predator a million times, obviously. I mean, Spawn versus Batman versus Alien was a thing at a point. Like,
I read that. Yeah.
All of these franchises are super willing.
Judge Dredd versus Aliens happened at some point,
right?
Unless I'm misremembering.
Yeah, so
No, I think it did. I think you're right.
These crossover, like, old movie character creatures and characters have that willingness to, like, show up in things, and, like, yeah, MK did grab all the right people for that, you know. And then, like, now they grabbed Omni-Man and whatchamacallit, Homelander and stuff.
Homelander.
So yeah, there's
and that makes sense because they made fucking Injustice, which had evil Superman, so you might as well throw the other evil Superman into the other fighting game.
And also they're, like, super peak violent, horrible, you know, people, so it's like, great, that fits into this setting too, you know. No, they did a good job picking out their guests over the franchise years, for sure, in recently.
We got to switch off fighting games. We're already in an hour.
Yeah. No, for sure. So anyway, that's what's going on. But as a fighting game, City of the Wolves is a good fighting game, and it is a fun to play one. And
as a product of international capital, it is
new emotions are being felt by everybody. This is the world we are now living in. Yeah, the whole bit, and anyway, the whole bit about like, we all know, you know, you're using the phones made from horrible conditions. We can't, and I'm not about to. I am not about to, but I'm just saying, like, but you know that feeling is always like, right? And then there's the, like, what percentage does Saudi Arabia own of this company? It's like, oh, is it 90 something? Okay. And then you go and look at the list and you go see, like, oh, how much of Capcom do they own? Oh, that's too much. Are we in the double?
No. This right now. You're getting into it.
It's one sentence. I'm saying one sentence, which is to say that, like, it continues to feel bad and gets worse over time, and I just know that, like, this is a new thing, but I know it's going to continue fucking careening and getting worse as we go on.
Just go play old fighting games under a bridge. It'll look like a fighting game stage.
Fightcade under a bridge can never be stopped. Okay. That aside, there's a couple other things, but Casey, how was your week? What did you get up to? What have you played? What's going on with you?
My week was wonderful. I went to I went to Dublin at the weekend to see the PlayStation concert.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
saw
which
you
was
were posting about
freaking
that.
nice, freaking awesome.
cool. Okay.
So they like if you're not aware, they put on this amazing show that played a lot of music from various PlayStation IPs like God of War and Horizon and Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, and I didn't know at the time, but it was like this was the first date on the entire tour, and so I was like one of the first people to see it. It's like it was cool as heck.
Nice.
Orchestra, like a lot of great orchestration. There was very talented musicians. Like they got out the taiko drums for doing Ghost of Tsushima stuff. So like it was real heckin' good. I
Did they
enjoyed that a
do
lot.
anything
did
from like
one from
really
Bloodborne.
old shit?
Not that old, no. I think
Oh, the no Vib
no,
Ribbon Symphony.
no, they did Astro.
I was about to say, did they hit Astrobot? Because that's what I
they
want to know.
did.
Yeah. I am Astrobot. Astrobot. It's great.
I did not know that there were PlayStation concerts happening.
Yeah,
Genuinely.
this was just this year. Like really talented musicians. I was very impressed and had an amazing time.
Oh, it's
Really
in
good.
Europe. That's why I don't know about it.
So, the Final Fantasy concerts have been doing their thing here in North America for a while, and it seems like the way they kind of set the things up is they go to a city, they get the local orchestra, they practice, and then they perform. So that's how they kind of, like, the touring concert is not quite a whole orchestra themselves traveling around,
Right.
but like, yeah, an opportunity to catch some video game music live is always awesome. That's super cool. Was it so it was all like PlayStation first party stuff, and was there anything like third party that happened to
No,
just
I think it's all first party.
okay.
So you had like, stuff from Uncharted as well. And like that one song from Bloodborne, which was very
Really?
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
they remembered.
They remembered.
I did.
Oh,
I was very happy.
was there a little the Little Big Planet theme? Did Sackboy pop up at any point?
No.
Okay.
No, that shit's dead.
Gravity
They
Rush.
hate that.
Yeah.
No, really? The music in
Really?
Gravity Rush is excellent.
Yeah, it was just
a
like no
bummer.
knack either. They didn't. They were knackless.
Okay. Well, then Bloodborne is the crumb for people like us. Then you get a crumb. Yeah.
Oh.
Cool.
Did you play anything cool this past week or 2 weeks or what have you?
Oh God, I've been playing so many cool games. This month alone has been absolutely 100%. Like, I cannot hold all these watermelons or lemons or whatever the meme is. I can't hold all of these.
Pots.
It's limes?
Is it limes?
Oh, I'm thinking
I
of
can't eat all of these pancakes.
I'm thinking of pots. I can't put all these pots away.
I'm thinking of that stock photo of a guy dropping a bunch of lemons or limes.
Okay.
I'm just constantly all of the games are falling on top of me. I've been playing Look Outside, which I know Pat has played.
I did play Look Outside.
That might be my game of the year. And
Just
so
bought
I
it.
saw you say that, right?
yeah.
And I went, that's fucking ridiculous. That's silly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played Look Outside, and I was like, I don't think it's my game of the year, but like, like I could listen to somebody argue that it could be. That kind of place in my mind.
I picked it up, and the impression, it was recommended to me as a like Fear and Hunger like, experience in a smaller setting and tighter.
So I spoke with the writer on it, Francis Colombe. I don't know if Frankie C is his nickname. I've just been calling him that.
Frankie Smile Show?
Yeah. And I was like, I was chatting with him about the writing and what to expect. And I did not know that it is made by tons of the people who worked on Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
Oh,
and
word.
Barkley 2.
Oh.
And I was like, what? And it's like, okay, Francis Colomb was the Barclay 2 artist, and C. Boyardee did all of the music and a lot of the writing for Look Outside. And then one of the other writers is the guy who wrote Katana Zero. So like this is star-studded.
Wow.
So I don't know Fear and Hunger, right? I don't know anything about it other than it's mean and that if you play it on stream, you got to mod it so that there's less dicks.
I mean, I'm playing Cyberpunk right now, so, you know.
But what I can tell you is that my interpretation would be that whereas Undertale took from Earthbound like all those wholesome vibes, Look Outside takes like the nightmare shit.
So the RPG element, I guess, that I'm curious about is because I've seen it compared to Fear and Hunger, but one of the main things with Fear and Hunger is that like you die in 2 seconds, like on a random encounter with an enemy.
I reloaded many saves in my time with Look Outside.
Okay.
I had to restart Look Outside because it turns out I got to the first floor and I was having a really, really tough time with it. And it turned out I'd missed a whole load of stuff that was like somebody came to the door and I didn't answer it, but apparently I could have got a cool maniac friend to come and stay with me and be in the party, and now we're going on a little adventure and having fun, murdering horrible things and making horrible friends. I love this.
It's
amazing.
It's really incredible. It is also like very stressful.
I was gonna say, is it very hard on top of that by default, or is it okay? Is it saving?
So like as a really good example, so think of like an RPG Maker style like RPG with like first person battles kind of thing, like a SMT thing. But like one of the first things that happened is I picked up a baseball bat. Yeah, baseball bat will help increase my attack. And then all of the special moves on the bat, like that would use your MP equivalent, does way more damage, increases the likelihood of the weapon breaking. And then in the middle of the fight, my weapon just like snapped in half, and then I was left with my fists.
Okay.
And I wasn't ready, and I fucking died.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. There's also. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say something else I was playing recently is a real great game for sickos called The Tower of Kalamonvo.
What is that?
It is super old school, kind of Diablo 1 influence.
How do you spell that?
How do I write that?
Yeah.
There it is. It's with a K.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so this looks just like Diablo 1.
Kale Monvo. Okay.
Oh, this is for sickos, isn't it?
Yeah. And there is a demo. I would tell people try the demo because it's a game that has quite a bit of rough edges. It is gloriously archaic. I think that's how I described it. And like there is no controller support.
I see.
You
playing mouse and
can't
keyboard.
have those modern convenences.
Is it for sickos leaning on the window going, yes?
Yeah, so that's the sicko. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If you crave like a very, very old school kind of action RPG dungeon crawlery thingy, this game is super good.
Would you say that like this game is operating under the logic that Diablo 2 was too streamlined?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, that answers so many questions.
Pat, as a person who has made the mistake of Diablo-like identification in the past, I would like to ask a question.
Yeah, go for it.
If I see 2 orbs of different colors on the HUD at the bottom left and right,
that is the number one signifier
that's a
of
Diablo.
a Diablo-like.
Okay.
Yeah, is the 2 orbs.
Got it. In there.
Because those games are about meat grinding. They're like pre-Vampire Survivors.
Okay.
Like meat grind.
The orbs.
Speaking of Vampire Survivors, have either of you played Halls of Torment?
I have played Halls of Torment. It didn't really do it for me.
I thought it was a nice like remix of the Vampire Survivors like flavor. Yeah, the Diablo like visuals were pretty cool, and the unlocking and progression were pretty fun. I think I still prefer Vampire Survivors as a whole. But I'd say this was the one I'd spent the most time with as a secondary, you know?
Yeah.
Some of them made the mistake of putting too much control in your hands and asking you to do more than just walk. And that I see that as a downside. I'm like, no.
There's a couple that are really good, but they want me to aim, and I'm like, I don't want to aim.
No, no, I'm not here for that.
30 minutes till dawn.
Yes.
Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of.
20
it's
minutes.
Excellent. It's a great game.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
But
it
I don't want to aim
requires
the
aiming.
game. Aim the gun.
The Hollow Cure one as well does require some aiming, or it has the option, I believe, that's on, but I think you can turn it off. Yeah. Keep it simple. Make it all about the stick.
Yeah. What else have I been playing lately? Got a game in my inbox last week called Smooshy Come Home. That one's really neat. It's a little 3D platformer. Kind of reminded me of A Short Hike, if you've ever played that.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Don't know.
Oh, Short Hike is really, really lovely. It's very like you play a little bird who's climbing up a mountain to get good signal on his.
Oh, right. I had this
phone.
on my wish list, but I never got around to it.
It'll take you an hour and a half tops. It is very short hike. Very, very beautiful game. Really love it. You get you collect feathers to like increase your stamina, and it's just really nice.
Cozy core.
Like, the higher up you can.
Cozy core.
Something like that.
Okay.
It looks like a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah, Smooshy Comes Home Smooshy Come Home kind of reminds me of that. You got like it's a little bigger, but it's that kind of a game. It's just nice. It's just a nice time, and of course Blueprints as well.
Yes, we talked about
I spoke
that
at length about Blueprints. Let me ask you: have you felt like the RNG is too mean in Blueprints?
Yeah, but I haven't gotten that far into it yet, so.
I actually have a question about that, Casey. When you're going through a lot of indies, what's your personal like checkpoint for like progress, or at least like getting an impression of it? Do you kind of like, you know, a lot of games obviously have like their onboarding kind of early part, and then you kind of and then it's variable as to like when it gets to the meat or so. But like to cover a lot of stuff in a short period of time, like how do you approach that?
Well, a lot of indie games are quite short, so that's helpful. That can be very, very helpful, and it just depends on where along the way I vibe with it. Another game that I was streaming last night, a game called Rosewater, which is it's a very old school point and click adventure, fully voice acted, kind of old LucasArts kind of style thing, but they got these nice rotoscoped animations. And if you've ever watched the
that is old school.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful.
Okay.
The moment that it kind of clicked with me, like it's this kind of like steampunk western kind of vibe to it, and it reminded me a bit of. Did anybody here ever see The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. with Bruce Campbell? And he's this kind of science fantasy western setting.
No.
What?
Oh my God! It is amazing, and like the villain in it, I think was it Billy Drago played him. So it's like holy crap! Like this
is such a good example of every single conversation I have ever had with you, Casey. Hey, Casey, what's up? Hey, here's this thing you never heard of that you're gonna add to your wish list. Thank you, Casey.
I'm sorry.
I had not heard about Rosewater until you said it just now.
Yeah, the rotoscoping looks incredible. That's really good.
Yeah.
I love the other thing.
The guy who voiced Arthur Morgan is in that as well.
Oh,
really?
Nice. Okay. There's something fun about the old like Lucas style like point and click and Scum VM games basically, where it's not just like the detail of the rotoscope moments, but it's also like standing around and having conversations where people are kind of animating a little too much and things are a little too exaggerated. It's like the rotoscoped actor decided to dial up the physical, you know, comedy to like 11 specifically to create like I'm tumbling off a roof, but my limbs are everywhere as I'm doing it, you know?
Because they're acting, man.
This looks great.
Yeah, so that's a game specifically. I'm thinking like the onboarding period. Like, what clicked with me was like you get the start the first act. You're in this town of Rosewater, and then after that first act, you get all your gang together, you get your posse. The main mystery is uncovered. There's a treasure hunt you're going to go on, and you get this steampunk wagon, and you're going off on the trail. And all along the way, you're getting all these kind of like mini adventures and little mini mysteries and things like that. And it's like, all right, this is really, this part of the game, this is really doing it for me, because it feels like, yeah, it's kind of like an episodic kind of TV show kind of vibe to it. And it's like, I'm having a little kind of like this character centric episode this time, and then next time it's a much bigger mystery, or, you know, it's got such a great vibe to it. I love it.
Okay. Is it point and click in gameplay as well, or just the aesthetic?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all point and click.
Gotcha. Right on.
So I've yet to finish that one. I was gonna wait until I finished it, to add it to my Steam curator page and give it like the official thumbs up, saying, "Hey, check this out." Got so far into it last night. I was playing for like 5 hours, and I was like, I need to go to bed. So it got very late.
So I feel like when it comes to like keeping on top of indies and things like that, I remember the exact
There's too many.
Well, I remember the exact moment when I felt like I'm drowning and I just will never be able to keep up, and it was when Humble Bundle started. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
That was the beginning.
Stop buying bundles.
Yep. Because you're like, these are great. There's 12 of them. They cost like very little. That's insanely affordable. I will play 4, and the others will just be in my library, and it's like not their fault.
I have like games that I have reached out to publishers to get codes for, gotten the code, can't wait to play this, and that was like 18 months ago.
Yeah. It's
tough.
There's a return to Metroidvania on Humble Bundle. Oh, I love Metroid.
I mean, so like a friend of mine who was, you know, working on a game was just kind of describing for me, like, you know, when he looked into like the metrics on like, the amount of releases and the things that come out, and basically like, you know, it's you know, like the back in the day with Wii, when there was like the shovelware days, right? Where you're just like, oh my god, this eShop is going to be filled with like God knows what dreck. But every once in a while you'd be like, oh, look at this Muscle March. What is that? You know, and then that'll be like a weird thing that stands out and be as a quirky gold mine. But with Steam, like, there is multiple great games that you personally would love that fit your own thing, that come out every single day, and there's just either no marketing or no word of mouth or nothing to get it in your face. But it's just, and tomorrow there will be another 2 or 3, and it's just constant, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't stop. Today, Old Skies just came out, and I haven't picked that one up yet because I want to finish Rosewater before I get that. Old Skies, it's from the guys who made Unavowed. It's another point and click.
Okay.
That just came out today.
Okay.
Either of you played Unavowed?
No, man.
No.
Really heckin' good. First, like, old school point and click adventure. Great voice acting.
Just keep going to my wish list and just adding more shit.
Oh yeah, well,
I'll never play.
Well, this looks like a like noir version of the game you were just describing, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really wonderful though. Some really great voice acting in that one as well, and that's one of the games that actually got me into the genre in the first place.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I do genuinely apologize if your wish list is getting. I'm just in piling more stuff on the pile, but like
it's untenable, but that's better than the opposite, where like I remember being a kid and being like, oh man, I hope a good game comes out this year. And part of that was like way less games came out, but also it's like if EGM didn't point it at me, it might as well have not existed.
Yeah, friends at school might bring it up, or sometimes I'd go see something new on the shelf at a rental store, you know, like I'd go to the video store and you'd catch it that way or so. But and you know what too, I will say that like for the beginning of the Xbox 360 era, when Xbox Live Arcade was happening, so I used to work in QA, and I feel like everyone back then would like everyone tried to keep up with like the Xbox Live Arcade releases at first. You know, you were grabbing a little bit of like almost every new thing, and then at a certain point it's like, oh no, you can't grab every single one of these things, or certainly even just keeping up with like what catches your attention, you know.
yeah, like this month has been positively and just it's untenable. It's untenable.
Like this week
entirely.
alone.
Yeah.
Well,
like Casey and I were chatting about it just briefly, but like French Lost Odyssey is out today. I'm going to be streaming it later today.
I'm going to be streaming it myself as well. I'm looking forward to that a lot because
we played the preview versions, and that preview version was excellent. And then all subsequent reviews of the full game have been excellent.
I feel like in my brain there's that potential, like maybe one day we will like there will be a time where I'm stuck in a cabin but I have internet. you know, and
that's gonna be
this is my horde for when it happens.
That's gonna be when you're in a nursing home.
Yes, okay, there we go. Yep.
And like in between, like the nurse helping change your poopy diaper, you'll be like, "Do you know about Mark of the Wolves?"
And
then they'll pretend to play it with you.
Another one that came, White Knuckle.
I'd never heard of a single one of these.
Oh, God,
good name.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
that's good.
It looks so good though. I need to play this.
I mean, just a list.
How the fuck?
This is one of those like, okay, go back and listen to this list afterwards. Okay.
Oh, it's being published by Dread XP. Okay.
Whoa,
and it's
interesting
climbing.
Art style. Yeah. Okay. 3D climbing. Your hand is latching onto things.
Full controller support, apparently.
Interesting.
Okay. Wait, it's a roguelike? It's a climbing game roguelike?
Cool.
Apparently
that's
so.
weird.
Yeah, and it's interesting how like retro art style and things that are like reminiscent of earlier generations are more than just an aesthetic choice, but actually like a budgetary practicality, you know, as well in a lot of cases.
Well, one of the things
I love a lot of horror games, and I find like the kind of retro aesthetic, it's more than I find that it's more than just a nostalgic thing. In terms of like the lack of detail can often lend to your imagination filling in the blanks.
I totally agree.
Yep.
I kind of like horror games that look too shiny and pristine and stuff. It doesn't do it for me the same way something creepy and grungy and grainy does. Like there's this amazing it's not a strictly horror game. It's a first-person shooter called Rot, and it kind of veers into horror after like towards the end of the first episode, and it gets super creepy.
That's the brown Soviet shooter, right?
Yes. Oh, that game is absolute like chef's kiss, amazing aesthetics, because like whatever it's doing, the guy who made it made his own custom engine for it, and whatever it's doing visually, it looks like the shadows, just all kind of light just drops off. It's like dark in a way that other games just are not, and it's creepy as hell.
I've heard a lot of good things about. I
Yeah.
own Rock. Okay,
Oh,
I did
play
not
it,
know that.
Play it. It's amazing. Cannot recommend. There's a
Yeah.
creepy,
No, I
there's a
don't.
creepy horse in it as well.
I mean, like, I think, you know, like, obviously games like Crow Country, like, that relies on its art style, really, you know, to like pull off what a lot of what it's doing besides the image parts. And yeah, a lot of the time you can also, you know, mess with the aesthetic as well, and do interesting things, you know, like it's not perfect, but for what it does, Inscription is an awesome way to play with the visual style of things being a throwback, and then, you know, you kind of establish a look and the way the characters behave, and then you change that up, and yeah, there's a whole lot to that as but it's also like, it's an elegant way to make it immersive, but also, again, it's like you're not attempting to achieve reality with this, and it's not too expensive. You can, you know, in a lot of cases, go with something that, like, we enjoy the look of, like, really detailed, nice pixel work, or a good low poly model in more cases than something that is like approaching realistic, but like is still kind of like uncanny valley, you know.
Well, one of the things that happened is so Gene played and put out a review of Expedition 33 today, where he lavished his praises, but he pointed out something that I had like unconsciously picked up, but I didn't know how to put it into words, which is Expedition 33 like looks like a fucking 360 game. Like it looks like an Unreal Engine 3 game with like the way that the specific like broad shading of like greens and blues and reds are.
Okay.
Like,
I just want,
it's nostalgic for the 360.
I want Lost Odyssey vibes, like,
Yeah, no, that's what it feels like.
Hitting me over the head. I want that. I want that badly. Right on. Okay.
I can't wait till we have nostalgic PS4 games.
Oh, give me that sweet chromatic aberration.
Oh, remember when they put this shit in every game? Oh, yeah.
I mean, brown shooters is like already a thing in our brains. I feel like, well, you know, what are like the we need to get far enough away from the generation to see what the flaws are in the things that are being attempted by its peak releases, right?
Oh, I got one for you. Oh man, remember when games used to cost too much? Oh, look, they made these new ones cost too much also, as a form of nostalgia.
So, somebody in the chat, I think that it slipped by me.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned Tail Concerto. The developers of that have a new game coming out next month. Fuga Melodies of Steel 3.
Oh, that's the furry orphans, furry orphan
Furry
crushing
tanks.
machine, I believe was the game. Yes.
Have you ever played the first? The first game is amazing.
No, but I've
not.
I've heard a lot about it, and I bought it,
good.
and I haven't touched it yet. But like, yeah, the what I've heard of it and described in detail is pretty fucking incredible.
Oh, like Fuga exists on the spectrum of like type of game that I would like to get through both of the Front Mission remakes and Valkyria Chronicles 1 and 4 first before I can get to Fuga 1. So there's like 5 games in the way.
Do you know what I would most compare it to is like Darkest Dungeon. It's like the
That's interesting.
I will
like
transfer my interest over to you, Wooly.
I love me some
like
DD.
a little linear kind of path, kind of exploration. It's like
Yeah, I mean
sorry.
no, just everything about the well, certainly at least the Darkest Dungeon character loss, you know, parts of that, and mecha as well is right up my alley too. Yeah, but are there other elements that are similar that you're thinking of?
Sorry about that. Not really. It's just, it's like there's always a tension to Fuga because it does have that mechanic that was rather controversial when it came out. I was like, no, I don't want to stick the orphan in the canon, and
No.
you don't have to. Like it
But I will.
introduces the mechanic to you. And
I will,
there's
even if
only-
someone says in game, you really don't have to do that.
It's one of those things that a mechanic that's there as a threat.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
As
'Cause, like,
much as you can do it, but like
when
you
I
don't
was
have
playing
to.
Frostpunk, like I unlocked child labor as like my first technology.
Nice.
It's important. The kids need to work the furnace with their tiny hands.
Okay, so we're talking about, like, you know, things that get, like, the current generation throwbacks, and, you know, obviously, yes, we didn't say it, but the quote that we bring up every time is the, you know, whatever you find now weird, ugly, and uncomfortable and nasty about a new medium will surely become its signature. CD distortion, jitteriness in digital video, the crap sound of 8-bit, etc. The thing that I'm realizing playing Cyberpunk 2077 right now that I want to see is a future game that harkens back to open world jank, where you walk around the corner of a world and you see the NPCs T-pose populating, dropping out of, you know, they're spawning into existence. Like the fact that the cops barely can track their way over to you when you like get a 1-star or 2-star thing. Open world jank is still a problem.
The Oblivion Remastered came out yesterday.
And
from what I've been seeing of it, it is a Unreal Engine wrapper on top of the old engine.
Oh yeah.
So it looks really shiny and fancy, and it is like flying apart every time you interact with it.
There we go. Okay, I'm describing a game that on purpose is making fun of these problems, but it is hilarious that this is still doing that thing.
I have played a lot of jank Polish and Eastern European shit, and I will tell you that it has to not be on purpose. Like you can make like a bad movie on purpose, and it's usually not as good as a bad movie by accident. Right? Which is why when Tommy Wiseau says it was supposed to be like that, I'm like, I don't believe you, bro. I don't believe you for shit, Tommy. But like jank is accidental.
Casey, are you familiar with the term Eurojank as coined by Pat here?
Yes. Oh yes.
Yeah, so that particular flavor.
I'm a bit of a connoisseur of jank, a jankoisseur.
Well, you should play Witcher 1. If you want some fucking jank shit, you should play Witcher 1. That is the most that is the game that has been fixed the most from its original release.
Yeah.
That is still massively fucked up.
You know,
honestly, I recommend playing Witcher 1 without any mods or anything. Just play it. Just go with it. Just
go right in raw. Someone someone has a couple years ago someone said something to me and I'm still thinking about it, which is I've been picking my own LPs and games to play on stream, and I've been eating too good because
I've received the same comment.
Because back in the day, you know, with best friends, we used to suffer every now and then.
Well, we would pick games to fuck with the others.
And now, by choosing my own meals, I've been eating too good, and that you need to remember to wash the taste of something terrible out of your mouth, and you need to return to jank, return to the call of bad, you know, so that you don't forget your roots. And I'm like, damn, do I truly need to drop like games I love and the Cyberpunks and doing my Silent Hill return or Dead Space exposure for the first time in order to go play some horrible asset flip? You know, do I truly need to feel the cold, bitter wind to remember what it's like?
You should play it's a very strange game. Someone in chat can help me. It's called something like hey, you want to play those games, don't you?
Yeah.
Is it? What's the name of that?
Let me check here. Let's.
You've
Someone
gotten
in chat,
weak.
because Vinny recommended it, but the name is really specific and weird.
Okay.
Okay, somebody in the chat got it. It's called, yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now let's see you clear them. And it is a mini game compilation of like dozens, if not hundreds, of games based around fake ads from like TikTok or YouTube.
Oh, that's great.
Here, I'll post the Steam
That's
page in
super
the
good.
Discord.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you. I love the sound of that. I mean, so like, I mean, to be fair, like, out of spite, I did just sit down and marathon through Omicron: The Nomad Soul in its entirety. So I
Yeah,
have.
but that's not the same, man.
I did.
Because you already did that shit years ago.
And then I did it again, and I'm just like, okay, so there was that, but I know there is something. Yeah, people are yelling, you've gotten weak. There's a weakness inside of you that only bad games can strengthen.
Do you want a really cool game that is? It was something for sickos, like
Yeah.
Like me. There's a game that came out this year called Asylum that has been in development for like 2 decades nearly. It's same developer as Scratches. If you remember Scratches, like this really weird mist like kind of first person point and click adventure.
Okay.
And I freaking loved it, and I couldn't finish it because of a game-breaking bug. I would still recommend it anyway because, like, it feels like a game from like 30 years ago.
So it was announced in July of 2010, and it came out in March of this year.
Yeah, it's amazing. The voice acting is really great, and like the character models are really off-putting. They are upsetting to look at. They got that weird kind of turn of the century early 3D model looking weird ass faces.
Are these?
And it's like,
am I seeing a pre-rendered mansion that you're navigating through, like Myst?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing today that plays like that, and I loved it.
Okay.
It's flawed as hell, but it's one for the sickos.
Okay.
I'm here for the sicko recommend.
The sicko recommends. Yeah. Perfect. No, that's a lot of them in a very short period of time, and I'm going to have to go back again. And I've been making note and just adding things to my cart as you've been talking, but that's a lot of cool shit.
I could keep going.
Yeah, you really could.
This would be a decent time to at least tell people like where to check you out and where to find
where
you.
at, Casey?
I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/Casey Explosion, where I will be streaming some Clair Obscur Expedition 33 later on tonight.
Hell yeah, you gonna stream it in French?
No, I don't think so. Is that an option?
Well, I mean with your voice.
Oh, right.
En français?
Ouais, pourquoi pas tu peux faire le stream en français?
I'm afraid my French is non-existent. It's
Ah.
very Irish. Damn.
Pauvre petit.
I'm letting the side down. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But, no, I'm really looking forward to that. And I have a Steam curator page where I stick all of the games that I recommend on there. And one of the things that I find really neat about the whole Steam curator system is like it's Valve has let it just go to crap, but it's actually a really good functional feature. So if you follow my curator page, stuff that I recommend will start showing up on your Steam homepage. So you can get like games for sickos.
Okay.
Casey, I have like a really stupid question, and this is extra stupid because I've followed you for years.
There are
How
no
do I
stupid questions.
actually get to your Steam curator page?
I can throw you the link.
Okay, yeah. Because like I don't know how to get to that in Steam.
It's not a stupid question, and in fact it's a very it's good of you to say. So when you're looking at the Steam homepage, like I got this up here now, and on the left side there's like game
Browse
categories,
right,
and such.
oh,
like
recommended
that.
by curators.
There you go.
Oh my god, I can't believe I never saw that.
Nobody
I follow
sees
one
it.
curator. Casey Explosion. Okay, I did it at some point.
You're not the only one to find like where the hell are the curators, and most of them are not good, but I think there are some really great ones, and it makes some ones that do put in the extra effort and do things right, makes them stand out a bit more. It's all the more important.
It's a great feature.
Oh, you played Rainbreaker?
Yeah, that was really good.
It is? I was thinking about it.
It's I'll tell you now, it's a very flawed little game because it feels like it was meant to come out in early access,
Mm-hmm.
and they just kind of finished it up and put out what they had.
Oh.
Yeah. But for what it is, it's actually it's really fun, and it's like $10 or something like that, and
Okay.
it's like it's priced accordingly, I thought. But like the music is really good. Some great visuals. It's very much cut from the same cloth as Hades. Like they know what they were doing there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
like the moment-to-moment gameplay is really good. It's snappy and responsive. It's good shit. But be prepared for a far smaller experience than what I think it could have been. This should have been an early access game that was added on to over years, like Hades was, and it's like they kind of pushed this thing out, and like I think that the publisher should have funded that for like a good stretch.
Hey,
It could have been a lot better than it was.
I have a question. Speaking of games that they're going to just push out whether or not they're ready or not, that the publisher probably should have funded it for more, no matter how long it's been in development. It should have released in early access. Hey, Wooly, did you play the Alpha Lab 2 for 2XKO this week?
I sure did. Yes. There you go. I was just gonna say that I think, just as a sidebar, I think the Hades style development is like a really awesome way to go about it if your studio can afford that, if you can make that work, because I mean they did a great job with it. But
well, Hades gets like a free pass compared to other things because the first version of Hades and Hades 2 was better than like half the games on Steam.
There's that, right? There's the quality of what they put out, certainly, but and I think too the genre as well makes a difference too, where like Hades has it has narrative and story and bits, but like for the most part the raw core run is what you're enjoying the most of, and every time you play it you hear new lines of dialogue you've never heard before, so like it was the perfect genre for that type of development. And their previous game Supergiant would do stuff that was just like, yeah, packed all in, Bastion, Transistor, etc. But scaling up this way also seems to be like a way that you can start low, and then as word of mouth spreads, the 1.0 release has the best chance of being a big thing because people are already invested heavily. So yeah, no, that's a great one. But yes, development takes long, and sometimes you know, despite how awesome the things are looking, boy, you got to just get it out the door, ready or not.
So, Casey, unfortunately, we're segueing back to a
into
different
fighting
fighting
games.
game. Apologies.
Oh, before you do, you asked me where else to find me.
Oh, that's right.
Completely forgot the YouTube. I have a YouTube channel now, Casey Explosion on YouTube, and I have meant to have a new video out soon, but it hasn't happened yet because I'm still script scrabbling on the script.
Mhm.
But my top 12 games of 2024 video was out.
Why 12?
Why not?
Because there were too many good games.
Okay,
Do you
well, that's
know
the right answer.
Do you know how long I was working on that script and trying to like see which ones would make it? I had to not include a lot of stuff and had to cut out so many honorable mentions, and it's still like 3 times as big as any other video that I've done before. And also, there was 12 months. Why not 12?
There you go.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Cool.
Number 3 will not shock you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. So I wanted to give a slight amount of background for 2XKO to Casey because she's not deep into the fighting game pits like we are.
Can I take this as an opportunity to have a quick bio break, and I will be
Absolutely
back to you in like 1-2 minutes. And
yeah, no, I'll take one myself, and I'll take the dog out as well. He probably could use it.
Sure thing.
Okay.
All right. BRB.
Apologies for this.
No problem. There we are. Let's take a quick word
We're
from our
back
sponsors.
we're free from the tyranny of piss.
It is a
So
cruel...
did you hear the one about the pizza?
What?
Did you hear the one about the pizza?
No.
Never mind, it's too cheesy.
Oh.
See, I was worried you were trying to connect the subject that Pat mentioned with what you mentioned, and
I'll kick her out of the show. That's terrible. Oh my god.
That's a lot. I'll take that. That's a lot better. Okay.
Oh, I need a sponsor to soothe my wounded spirit.
Yeah, that'll swerve us off of the tyranny of piss, I believe your phrasing was.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Gotta make the rest of the chat gotta make them piss.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by boot.dev.
Oh man. I need this because I don't know how a computer works. I pretend like I do, but like anyone who watches me start my stream muted knows I don't know how a computer actually works.
Okay, well, if you need help figuring that out, that's probably... There's much lower end places to start, but this is for...
No, I'm going to go straight to coding.
Okay. Well, if you're trying to learn how to code, if you're trying to learn programming, if you're trying to learn start to finish Python, Golang, or SQL, the best ways to do that is to make sure that you can learn in a way where you're never bored, and so that you stick with it long enough to reach your goals. And yeah, I am someone who has wanted to, you know, I've worked on lots of projects and I've had ideas for like things with indie games. I've had various degrees of failure with the things I've worked on. And one sticking point has certainly always been, okay, so you can get music and okay, you can get your art done, but what about the coding? What about the programming? Are you truly going to be like Pixel? Can you make your own cave story? Do you have the willpower to sit there and flip through this thick textbook and understand how to actually do it and how to do it well? No, is the answer. No, I'm terrible at it. It sucks. I've always struggled, but even at my hardest, when I tried to make characters in Mugen, the program your own fighting game engine, I struggled across the finish line with those. And if I had a service like boot.dev, maybe my dreams could have come true faster. All my fighting games could have come true.
Yeah, probably, actually. Yeah, no,
for real,
absolutely.
Right?
Because coding was a definite, like, roadblock.
Every time. So what it is it's the way to learn how to program that it's a site that's all set up where you go through various challenges and progress through your lessons, but it's all styled like an RPG. So every time you defeat a stage, you gain experience, there's challenges, there's boss fights, you unlock achievements, you get items, and there's a leaderboard, there's all kinds of, like there's lore going on, so that there's a raid boss.
Wait, really? There's lore?
There's lore. There's current chapters that are happening with a boss that takes damage from everyone that is able to currently, team up together to defeat enough code lessons to do enough damage to the boss. The whole thing is set up in a really smart way with gamification as your way of staying interested and locking into it. And I know that helps me a lot. So, whoa. All right. Hey, there we go. Gamification. We're cow mode now. That's cool. Holy crap.
That's gonna be really
Holy cow is right there.
Holy cow was right there. You're correct. We're too vulgar. But hey, so yes, boot.dev is, in particular, you can go there to learn whether not just Python and Go, but they've also got JavaScript, Git courses, Linux courses, memory management in C, SQL databases, Docker, and Kubernetes. That's the first time I've seen that. That's new to me. But no, it's a really fun way to learn how to program. And they've got a 30-day no questions asked refund policy if you wanted to try things out. They've also got a free demo of every course available. So if you're a student and you want to just make sure that you're getting your money's worth, all of that's available for you, as well as a Discord community with tons of real humans to help you if you ever get stuck on anything. So yeah, learning to code is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but Boot.dev's curriculum takes some time and goes properly in depth on both theory and practice as well. So be sure to consider checking that out. And of course, if you are looking to get a job in programming, it is one of where, according to Stack Overflow, the median salary for a backend developer in the US in 2023 was over 100K. So programmers are
pretty penny.
Programmers are very valuable. And that aside, again, I think more about being able to program your own projects and games as being a super cool skill to have. So be sure to check them out. Go to boot.dev and try out the courses for free. Then you can use our code CastleSuperBeast to get 25% off your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. So once again, you can go to boot.dev, try out all the courses for free. And if you use the code CastleSuperBeast, you'll get 25% off your entire first year if you choose the annual plan. Thank you very much, boot.dev.
Thanks, boot.dev.
And this week, the podcast is sponsored by Turtle Beach. That's those good headphones. In particular, having a high quality Turtle Beach headphone. I've for my setup when we're streaming on the couch over there, especially, I've gotten a pair of those over the years. That's been a go-to for playing games and having a good quality surround experience. But in particular, the Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset is very, very quality. It's got a battery that lasts an insane 80 hours as well. That's incredible. Plus you got the quick charge going with that. No crackly mics, nothing bad quality if you're using the internal mic. And I have mentioned before as well, the single greatest feature I've used on any headset has been the ability to connect to a device such as the Bluetooth on my console, on my computer, whatever else, and then on my phone as well, and then it will play and lower the volume so that you can hear both at the same time. So if you're playing a game and you're listening to that, and then you take a call on your phone, it actively drops it down so that you can hear both simultaneously as you continue. That's incredible.
I don't know how that works, but that seems cool.
Love it. Listening to a podcast, playing something, whatever else it is that you're doing. Because I find found time, I guess is the term for, multitasking while listening to something or doing something else. The ability to have two devices and have the volume balance out between them is been my favorite feature by far. So absolutely fantastic with that. That's the crossplay dual wireless transmitter system. Be sure to head to turtlebeach.com and use code CASTLE for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off your entire order at turtlebeach.com with promo code CASTLE. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support the show and tell them that we sent you, and get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today.
Thanks, Turtle Beach.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right. All
right. Casey is the perfect guest for this, as they have relayed to me that while you were still in the bathroom, Willie, that fighting games are an old time thing for them. You were telling me about how much you love Bloody Roar.
Oh, awesome game.
Yeah, Bloody Roar was there was a PlayStation 1 eras where my peak fighting game kind of era. Was big into Darkstalkers, Rival Schools.
Yes.
That game freaking slapped.
Yeah.
All right.
That was so good.
And it's about
Perfect.
to get re-released on Steam actually after a long
What?
time. They're finally putting out a collection with it. Super cool.
way.
Yeah,
So,
it's Capcom Fighting Collection 2.
so wait, does that mean that like your default form is the sloth, but then when you bloody roar, go beast mode, it becomes a cow?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
You want.
So
Mid combo.
This level of fighting game background is perfect for the question that I have been wrestling with really hard every time I think, talk, or play about the Project L / League of Legends fighting game 2XKO. Casey, if you were looking forward to a fighting game that had been in development for just under a decade, how many characters do you think should come out on the launch day of that game?
64.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I love how every time, like Pat, your ability to load the questions up with all the toppings is unrivaled.
Well,
the most loaded questions of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, would you say that 10 is a weird number for that?
Possibly. It was the way you were phrasing that. It was either going to be a really big number or a really small number.
Right.
So I probably overshot. Is it
So
is it 10?
the Alpha Lab 2 was this weekend or whatever, right? And I played some of the Alpha Lab. I'm sure you did too, Wooly.
Yep.
For 2XKO. And it's crazy to me how, because Casey, the Alpha Lab for this, essentially a free alpha that you could sign up for and play, right? And my initial impressions were, hey, this is pretty cool, but there were only like 6 characters available because it's a test, right? And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see how many more this roster's gonna be really cool, I bet. And
now I know this skin. Is the League of Legends fighting game thingy?
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they announced
I-
that the total roster at launch would be 10, which is most people were expecting like
A lot more.
30, something like that. And it has completely changed every single way that I feel about this game entirely. And because one of the things that I was worried about, I played the Alpha Lab and I'm like, all right, let me sit down and play the Alpha Lab. And I saw the same 3 characters in every single match I played for hours. I saw Darius or Ari in every single match I played during the Alpha Lab for hours. And it was like, oh, this is going to be a bummer.
Yeah. So.
I was watching you play this the other. Why did I blank on this one?
Oh, you actually saw my stream?
I was actually
Okay.
watching your stream. Yeah.
So well, it's not out yet.
Just washed over my head completely. It just did not. Nothing latched on.
It's not out yet, but it'll be coming out shortly, and it's been in development for a really long time. And as a League of Legends related property, it's had a really long time to develop, and they've had I guess the ability to kind of. I think the goal with each of the games is kind of like whether it's this or Runeterra or Valorant and stuff. They always kind of are like, we want to make a big splash in the space of the genre that we're coming out in, if not like take it over, or at least land in those top 3 most discussed games, and they certainly picked the team that like has the ability to make a like really good fighting game that is like also being made in North America, without necessarily going to like one of the Japanese developers that made like Guilty Gear or Capcom or something like that. But I think in like seeking like perfection out of the gameplay, which is very, very tight, and I have a lot of points on my impressions of the alpha from this weekend. It just took them so long to get the roster out that we're gonna probably I think this first year, variety is the number one problem that the game has right now. And I think
it's not just that the roster's small, Casey, it's they're all like really normal looking characters. They're all really, really standard.
The guy you were, I was watching, you were playing the other day, and it was the playing as a guy who looked like a knockoff of Garrison from Battle Chasers.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I was playing Darius.
Darius,
Yep.
yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because like League of Legends has a massive roster, but the ones they've picked are all from like the beginning of the game's life cycle, and they picked all the normal humans or human adjacent.
Ilaoi came later, right? I believe that I was told she was.
She's a later
which is
edition. Why she has some sauce.
But it does. I'm also reminded every time we talk about the lack of giant freak, characters that we love. I'm always reminded of that Asia top 100 versus North America top 100, and how the Asian top 100 characters are all like the pretty human beings. Stars. They're all the pop stars, right? Everyone that is beautiful and young and hot is the most popular. So like North America is way more down for the volley bears and blitzcranks, but like that is a localized flavor. That being said, though, just character variety, I'd say is number one thing with it as well, because the other problem that goes alongside character variety is that in a game like this where it's team based, you're going to see the more characters more often because it's teams of two that you're fighting against, and if somebody on that team is really good as an assist or that jumps in to support you, that character is going to be seen even more often because they have a really good utility. That means like people are not just going to pick two that they love, they're going to pick the one that's a great partner and the one they love.
I'm seeing a future in which there's the 3 out of 10 top tier characters and the 2 good assists, and now all of a sudden your 10 character roster is down to like 4.
And this is kind of what happened with with Marvel versus Capcom and Dragon Ball, and a lot of kind of fast hyper fighters tend to have a similar thing where like you're gonna find you're picking 2 characters that you're a fan of and maybe one that you don't care about, but man are they great as an assist to help you throw a beam out or do something that's great for your offense. And then, of course, there was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, where they said, well, let's just put the stones in place. Let's put the Infinity Gauntlet stones to replace a character pick, And I think here, this game kind of has something similar where the fuses are all like a very, very unique way that your team is affected. And variety is going to come more from fuses than from the cast. But
yeah, no one likes that.
But that's not enough because looking at the game, you want to see this giant source roster of hundreds of characters. It's coming from a place where the whole thing is, everyone's got a list, and when you're kind of like
every person who's interacted with League has a big list of like 50 characters they would like to see, and way too many people are like, how did zero of the people in my list make it onto this roster?
Right, you're getting prepared to be like, I guess I'll accept seeing 5 that I want, and then the remaining 50 will show up later or something, and you're like, actually
make even a full team of 2 characters with characters I like in the current roster.
So that's the number one thing, I'd say, the number one flaw right now that we feel for sure. And then at the same token, I feel like when you look at how much work is going into each character and like how is this taking so long, Jinx is the new character that was available. And did you mess with her at all?
No, I didn't.
She's incredible, right? She's a very, very sauced up, like zoning character. She's really good. And it feels a lot of fun to use her tools together. You can immediately see that like the way she plays is she's got her little Gatling gun that you can shoot straight forward, or you can like aim it upwards in like an arc that sweeps. She can send out little robot monkeys. She can send out little flying drones and bouncing like biting traps. And then she has the ability to like shoot them to make them fly further forward towards you, or like electrocute them, and then they move in different patterns across the screen, And overall, the combining of like all her little traps and your ability to shoot your guns and shoot your missiles and fill the screen with stuff is very, very like there's a lot of freedom in like how you can play as her, you know. And then when you get really good, you can start to see like her combos involve very skillful juggling of your opponent with like using your big rocket hammer to launch them into the air, throwing out a trap, shooting them, and then the trap is bouncing behind them to like grab them back, and then you continue the combo. And it looks really cool. She seems like a very well built, you know, in the same way that like a lot of these characters, like they think about a lot and they make sure that each time a character comes out, they put a lot of work into it. You can see that. And so I feel like the philosophy here is like a part of the reason why things are going to take this long is because each time they build out a character, they're going to make sure that they're very thorough and complete and have a whole lot going on with them. But I'm just like, I don't know if that the trade-off is going to mean as much for general audiences, because as someone who likes fighting games, I love when a character feels like they have a very complete kit that works really well within itself. But like, are we trading off quantity and quality in a way that, you know, might hurt the game in the long run?
So, Wooly, I totally agree and understand everything that you say. And what's interesting is that somebody who used to agree with you and now no longer agrees with you is Tom Cannon, the lead developer of this game, because he just gave an interview a couple days ago about how he feels about the roster going forward.
Oh, yeah?
I have the quotes up here.
And so he thinks that the quantity over quality is the road forward?
I can say that we have champions that we're working on that you haven't seen yet. I'll tell you, for me, a number that would feel better than 10, just my personal opinion, is around 24. I think that at 24, you're like, okay, now there's enough to keep me going, and then we can add more and more. But as what would be a good enough for me, or rather a good starting point, 24. Yeah, I don't know if he's saying they're going to hit 24 by the end of the year.
So then he's agreeing with me then. I'm saying I think the number of characters going up matters more, especially given the license this is connected to and the impression that you want to have for a game like this coming out free to play for a lot of people. Picking characters and just connecting with them is the first thing you do in a game like this. And the fact that there's a lot of, I can see why they take as long, but I think more characters is more important for a game like this.
So there's a second part to this, which has something that I really want to criticize very heavily. He goes on to say, we're not close to that now, so we're going to work quickly to get to that point, which is 24. And then we're going to keep going. The reason why I'm being a little cagey at this stuff is because, honestly, we're still getting better at this. This is a new fighting game team, even though we've been at this for a little while, which in a little while is 10 years. Even though we've been at this for a little while, we're not on like version 5 of a franchise, right? We're building this team, and as we go, we're learning how to do things. You're seeing the game get better, look visually better, and the character kits get more dialed in. As frankly, we're getting more familiar with the game and better at our jobs. So my main complaint about this statement is, first of all, it is very reasonable, and I get it. My main complaint is he goes, well, we haven't been, this isn't version 5 of the game, right? And it's like, I know for a fact it is version 3 of the game that they have built up. This is the third version of 2XKO after it used to be something else, and then they scrapped it, and then they used to be something else, and then they scrapped it. So they are essentially on their third iteration of this game.
I think what I took that to mean like releases, because there is a difference between internal re-scrapping and starting over versus the public
totally
reception.
Released this game at least twice by now.
Definitely. It could have been, but I think that there's a huge difference in the amount you learn from a release and from the public getting their hands on something and taking that into your sequel versus the internal, like, shit, we fucked up, start over,
I don't know Tom Cannon. I've never met him and I've never spoken with him, and I'm sure, and I know he's behind GDPO, and this team is clearly working very hard. I think they have made the game wrong if they are at the point of 9 years of development that they're coming out with something that is actually under like 18 months to 2 years of development. Like, that's kind of like what happened with the Anthem.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone would. I think it's clear that like something did not go according to plan if this is the launch roster for sure, and it's it's the whole time we've been talking about this game over the years, looking forward to it. It's been all the discussion has always been about, man, what a big roster to pick from. Who are we gonna get? You know,
like that has been the assumption for like 8 years talking about this game. They like, and I don't know what their plans were, but I feel like they really should have looked at the fact that the expectation was for a big Marvel style roster
1,000,000%
the whole time.
I think
and like.
Besides the fact that like Riot is like, I guess, willing up to a point to, you know,
I think that point is
bankroll
over.
this. They were willing to up to now kind of like let it go and just keep cooking. What I will say is that like optimistically, the problem that we're describing is a fixable one. It's like you need to start putting out the characters and getting that number up, and as that number goes up, this problem becomes less of an issue. And I think that you're going to see that over time as well. And it doesn't have to have the by being free, it's not the Concord thing, right? Where you're like, okay, guys, please pay for 10 characters and enjoy this incomplete kind of you're fighting the same character a lot vibe for a while until it slowly gets where it wants to be. I think that like by coming out free and then doing this, it's one of those games where you can play it, get in and be like, maybe I'll tune back in when I see who I want to play show up. Maybe I'm looking for Volibear, Blitzcrank, Teemo, right? Vi, any arcane character, whatever the case is, and it can be something like that. But overall, this is a solvable over time problem that you're not hitting the wall of like, I spent my money, where the fuck is the variety I'm looking for?
I worry about that because like, so League of Legends has 170 characters ish, and 20 of them are free on rotation at any given time, right? So 20 is 2 times as many characters as you need to field a full match in League, right? This game's going to come out with 10. How many and it's a free-to-play fighting game, so some characters will be available for free on rotation. I assume it's going to be 2 or 4 characters on rotation. That is going to be a lot of matches against the same characters.
You mean the free?
Yeah, into XKO. Because you're going to have to unlock characters in that game.
Okay,
if they're not on rotation.
Okay, so was League where was it Dota or League where it was full roster and you buy cosmetics?
It's Dota that's full roster at all times.
Okay, League you had to unlock through game currency or purchase
or buy, and they rotate the free ones around.
Okay.
So in 2XKO, they announced that they're going to have a tournament mode that's offline that unlocks all the characters.
Yes.
Which says that the main online mode will have most of the characters locked.
Right.
Which means like, I think Darius and Ari as a tag team is really like outrageously common now. And all I can think of is wait until those are the only free characters available for like an entire month.
Has that release structure worked? Have they done that for all their other games as well?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Because this feels like a game where the Dota approach would actually be way better for what they're going for, and that like this would be a good time to try that out instead. You know,
that would be a good time to try that. But to do the Dota approach, they need to have like 4 billion cosmetics for all the characters.
Yeah. So I did see as well. Yeah, in Sage, I'm talking to the team. They mentioned that there'd be some unlocking through some way that we haven't seen yet. That's true.
Is it your credit card?
Who knows? Who knows?
It probably is your credit card.
But yeah, no, the definitely for a tournament and for the ability to play this game in locals and things like that, there needs to be something that is like friendly for we have every character unlocked ready to go like a normal fighting game, you know, because a tournament.
Hey Casey, let me ask you. Yeah. You said you saw me playing 2XKO. If you were the kind of person who was like, oh, that game looks cool, and it's free. Would you be excited to hop into a free-to-play fighting game where there were only 2 characters available to try?
Not particularly, no. I don't play too many free-to-play games in the first place because I don't like the monetization kind of models.
Mm-hmm.
My scene, therefore, not too keen on it. No.
So yeah, they need to work on the roster and get that up to snuff for sure. There's a bunch of other stuff about it, impressions wise, that I've felt that I think I want to touch on just before we get off the topic.
Go fast.
Okay, well, roster, big problem, agreed. That aside,
Yes.
there's stuff that it's doing really well, and I think what'll be the hallmark identity of it is like the co-op elements are fantastic. The co-op elements in this as a tag team fighter that you play as 2 people together are better than anything that's happened.
Do you feel like a lot of people are going to use that?
I think it'll. I think possibly. I don't know. It's hard to guess. It encourages it in a lot of ways, and the fact that they put in a bunch of new stuff to like do more as a duo, I'm encouraged by that. I feel like it was a lot of fun, kind of just originally, seeing how you could play together and switch off back and forth. But now that they have ways where you can if you're very good at fighting games, but you have a friend who's not too sure how to play, there's a specific way that you can come in with them as an assist that helps you, and they can learn the game while you are taking over as the main character and stuff. Is like a fun teaching kind of mode. That's the sidekick. The sidekick fuse. I think stuff like that's really, really great for like also making the game stand out as a unique thing. People played Smash Brothers in teams of 2 before, and of course there's a Multiversus which came and went, which also had a dedicated kind of duo mode. But this is actually playing in a way that is legitimately like refreshingly new and fun, and you have synergy with the person you're playing with. And I think this is the standout that is going to make this game, like, if you are somebody that wants to play cooperatively with your friends and stuff together, this is going to be more memorable for sure as a feature compared to other fighters. If you have somebody be like, hey, you should try this game out, in fact, I'm pretty good at it, or let's play together. And then you'd be like, okay, I've never touched it before, but you show me the ropes. I'll just join a team with you, and then they can kind of walk you through it. I think that's a really cool thing that other fighting games couldn't do, and so that feels stronger here because they have this thing, right? The sidekick thing I mentioned.
Let me ask you, how do you feel about the length of matches? Because there's a
gonna
video
get there.
going around.
Gonna get there. Let me just hit some of the things, right? So Juggernaut also is a really cool way that you and your friend can both be on the same team, and you can almost like play together. And if you can jump in on rounds where you think, I got this match, let me take over, or let me just watch you play. And so that's another way as well of you kind of playing together with a friend. And a lot of what I've wanted fighting games to do has been my main feature I want them to have is squad up on the title screen. Give me the same thing that an Apex Legends or Fortnite or any of these other games do, where you're encouraged to just jump into a Discord chat with your buddies and play together. I would love that, and I think that here you have that ability, right? So like I'd like to see them further lean into these really awesome things they're doing. I think that something as well that it's nice is like, okay, they've made the combos shorter. And that overall has affected that feels better too in a lot of cases. The you don't have the same super long RE combo loop that we saw that took like a million years before, and that felt very boring to just kind of stare at a long thing lasting forever. They've all and like the kind of flip side of it is that like shorter combos kind of get into like this ideal damage range faster. And then if you do like extensions and try to style too much, it really, really scales downward and like kind of stops it from paying off. So there is a little bit of a feeling where I tried to do some more advanced stuff with Elawi, and I kind of realized it's like, even when I pulled it off, the damage wasn't worth it, So there's a little bit of a homogenizing effect there that I'm like, okay, well, I hope that the variety with your assists and stuff can still keep that fresh. But overall, shorter combos does, feel like you could get back to the game and it's more engaging in that way. I also think the change they made in the Alpha Lab 2, where you can do push blocking more frequently, is great, because you call in your assist to do that now, whereas before it used to cost a meter, which I'm like, I don't want to spend a super just getting you off of me for 1 second.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You know, so putting that on your partner is a lot better, and that means that, like, great, I've used my partner up to push you off. Now I don't have an assist for a couple seconds, but like, hey, I'm not as, it doesn't feel as bad to use that resource because it does replenish, you know, after a couple seconds. And then I also think that when you beforehand, when you died, if your character had a leftover meter and you switched to the new character, that leftover meter, you wouldn't be able to do anything with it. But now they have a very elegant solution where you can use that leftover meter to do a super assist with a dead partner. And I think that's a really smart way to use something that was otherwise just sitting there pointlessly, you know? So that was well done. I think there's also, when you jump online, you get a end user license agreement that basically says, don't be a fucking asshole and we will kick you if you're a griefing shit, you know, which is like, I want to see how they enforce this, but the messaging that basically is like, if you're a rage quitting baby, if you don't like, you know, playing with others and playing nicely, then there's other games for you, get out.
Yes, like League of Legends.
I appreciate the you know, the wall they put up on that agreement sign. Let's see how they enforce it, you know. But it's nice to see that it's
if you're a whiny
policy.
diaper baby, we have League of Legends over here for you to diaper baby your way as much as you want.
Please try one of our other offerings on the Riot launcher. Now, yes, so character variety. Now back to, so as far as the problems go, that's the one of them. And then the second thing is, because they've increased the ability for you to, okay, so shorter combos also means that they've increased your ability to like tech roll, get out of situations, avoid situations where your character was stuck on the ground and then you had to like wake up and guess, you know, what was about to hit you. Now you can evade that a lot easier, and so as a result, some people are playing much more defensively and much more keep away.
Much more defensively.
I noticed that at the lower level matches, when people are not too familiar with the game, things were more or less fine. It was going along and everything was every match was reaching its intended conclusion. And then when I fought against a lot better players, there was a lot more like, actually I'm going to hang back and run away from you, and that resulted in more time overs. So that was an issue.
It's a really long timer. Yeah. It's like 120 seconds.
Yeah. So that was something I saw other channels were discussing this too. I felt it when I had some of the matches against some stronger players, and people were just like, you're chasing them down the whole time and they're like, I'm playing runaway essentially. Is that we used to joke about it because in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, the timer and the damage numbers and the ability to just run away was the optimal way to play. And here this has happened again in some bad ways where, like, you know, one of the examples that was given in a Broski video was a situation where both characters, one person was down a partner, so they had two on one side and then the opponent had one character left. The one character left was likely not going to win because on her own she was just gonna likely be outclassed, and so it was a situation where if she were to fight back at that point, she would be giving her opponent more resources by fighting, so it's better for her to just die. But then the opponent is like, I want those resources, so I'm actually going to wait for you to come to me to make sure that, you know, and so it became this moment of both characters being like, I'm not going to come to you, and I'm not going to come to you, and you're like, uh-oh, the incentive structure to fight has broken, right? Which is a very specific thing that can happen when people are playing the game at a level where they understand how the resources work and how much it's like, you know, I need to prepare for the next round. This round is already gone. You never want your fighting game to become something where
it's like Injustice, man.
The best move is not to play, right? Injustice is one example. The thing I think of is King of Fighters 12, where it became like every, you know, minute or less, or every couple, maybe like 20, 30 seconds, you would build up this meter that made you so strong. And for the next 10 seconds, I got to run away from you. We play cat and mouse. And then when it's gone, we can go back to playing the game normally. That's not fun. That sucks. Right?
You know what's really interesting, though? This is actually something that happens in League of Legends all the time.
Really?
Well, yeah. It's like, okay, two of my guys are dead. there's a big team fight coming up. It would be 3 versus 5. They want to take the tower. The smart move is to not fight them at all and let them take the objective, because if we fight them, we'll lose, and then we'll be even further behind.
Yeah, that is bad. If your game incentives break apart and you're like, the best move is not to play, then you need to change the rules of the game to make sure that doesn't happen. You know?
No, man, it's accurate. It's accurate to League of Legends. They're doing it on purpose.
So what I will say is, between the last Alpha Lab and this one, they did address some of that stuff. So this is a new problem we're seeing, and hopefully, they address it the same way they did the stuff last time. But they got to fix that for sure.
I think that also calling it an Alpha Lab is so silly. The game's been in dev for 9 years and it's still an alpha. Guys.
Yeah, okay. It's
You're not content locked yet? You're not even in beta?
Right. As opposed,
Are you kidding me?
As opposed to beta or content complete, or release candidate. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. What else I mentioned? Oh yeah, like I kept accidentally they changed the sweep inputs to be like I think it's like down forward for sweeps and like down and down back is for launchers, and I kind of prefer the invert of that, but whatever, that's extremely minor. The last thing I'd say on the negative side as well is I tried ranked and I couldn't get a single match, so it seems like ranked was not working.
Not a single one.
Nope. And I saw a tweet that implied that there was a particular range of time where they told people try ranked from like 5 p.m. to 8. From like, there's a window where they said we want to try this out here now as a part of the test, but for the regular duration of the Alpha Lab, ranked was just not working. So
couldn't play one single match.
Nope. Other bad note about the ranked is that apparently when it does work, it resembles Guilty Gear Strive's ranked system, which is that you are in a room with your ranked opponents, and you're basically, it's like tower floors where you have to fight everyone in that room, as opposed to just hitting a button and saying, find me anyone anywhere that matches my criteria.
Hey man,
and that sucks because people
things take time. It takes time to polish these things out.
And so that ranked option sucks because you just give people the ability to dodge ranked fights or to pick and choose. And Guilty Gear Strive gave us a lot of reasons why you need to not have people having control over what ranked fights they're going to have. You need to just like hit the button and get something. So I hope they fix that too, because that's a bad idea.
Hey, I have a question for both of you, especially because you're both on like opposite ends of the level of interest on this. Because I want to know if I'm being an asshole here. I feel like for every year of development on a game over 4, like nitpicking becomes more like justifiable. Right? Like if 2XKO came out in 2 years and it had all these little issues, I'd be like, well, they're working on it. But at this point, like I expect this game to come out with a mirror shine.
Well, there's as far as to me, the thing is, like when we talk about Silksong, it's like lasted so long and has become such a topic, and we also
Silksong must be the greatest game ever made.
We do feel it more because our jobs involve talking about it week to week.
What's that, Casey?
I'm just saying, let them cook.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be weird about it. Just let them cook.
I'm hoping that so for 2XKO, getting my hands on it.
I don't want to.
But so Pat, for me, I'd say like getting my hands on it. It feels like I'm confirming that I'm having fun with the way this game plays, and it feels more real. So I'm excited about the things I like, and I want more of that. Right? If you're looking for an out or a reason to not care about these games, and you can be like, that shit sucks, I'm out of here, fuck that. If you want a ripcord or a parachute to escape.
Actually, I'm in the opposite camp. I want a reason to care about this game because there are tons of characters I want to play in it, and they have not put even one character I want to play in it.
Okay.
And so all the other little minor issues are like infuriating, and I could ignore all of those if they put a character I wanted to play in it.
I think that like there's in the overall, like, well, I feel like I like Alawi, so I didn't feel that part of it, but I want more. I want to see all of those. Cool. Yeah, I want to see all those other characters I mentioned like
if they
from
put
a while
Teemo
ago.
and Nautilus in this game, I would never complain about it again.
Mm.
I would run that team no matter how shit it was.
But with this, and we mentioned with Guro a little bit and stuff. Like in terms of like when I touch it and I go like, yo, this is a thing that I'm gonna have fun with. I enjoy what's here, and there's these problems. I want to see these things ship up and get into better shape. I think they can. And yes, I'm also invested in the genre, so like I'm optimistic about good entries in that, like working out and helping the health of fighting games over in the long run. So I'm gonna be like, well, is that a fixable problem or is this fucked forever? And if it's fixable, then it's like, okay, cool. Well, I hope by this time, within a couple of months, or maybe even by next year, we won't even be thinking about that. And you'll just be like, oh yeah, here's what's going on with it, and it'll be a good part of the FGC.
So, I have a reverse thing to say about the roster, where I don't know if there's a character they could put in that I would be like, roster saved. But I do know that there's a character they could put in that I would be like, this roster is cooked. Like, if they put in, there's a character called
Ronaldo.
No. There's a character called yes. There's a character called Garen that they could put in, and I'm like, if Garen made it into the launch roster, I would be like, this game has no hope of future, because Garen is the guy that Darius is ripping off.
Oh, the other Ryu.
The other guy.
Yes, the evil, the good, the hero guy. I remember in Runeterra he was a thing. Yeah. I mean, if he's a launch default expected thing, just push it later. If he has to be there, then let him show up, but just push it for later.
He needs to show up in 4 years.
But yeah, that's kind of all it is just it's a matter of perspective, right? I look at these other things, and like, to me, what matters a lot is how the game feels to play, what's going on with the whole 2v2 system or 2v1 system, the how fun it is to use the characters, find combos, matchups, all that stuff, the ingredients that we enjoy in a fighting game. And like, the roster is like something where I'm like, if they say they're gonna fix it, right? They said they're going to announce characters and they're going to come out, so all we can do is just like wait to see how frequently that happens. But you
said something really interesting. You said that you described all the mechanics as the ingredients that we enjoy in a fighting game.
Well, the stuff that I'm
that, like, I understand what you mean by that. And I'm like, I think there's a genuine difference of a like perspective here. Is like, to me, the single most important ingredient in every fighting game is the roster.
Yeah, no. I completely agree, right? I don't want this to sound like, oh, I'm like FGC pill-brained and that's all I care about, the functions versus the cool-looking thing, because, hey, look, I got me a muscle mommy, and I'm happy,
Smash
and that's
Brothers,
dope.
Even though that game's for like babies, because like Richter Belmont's in it.
More to the point,
babies.
more to the emphasis I want in what I'm saying is that if they said, yeah, I don't know, we'll see when these characters show up and that's all there is to it, it would be so depressing and crazy to just be like, who the fuck, like, literally, like, you don't know.
That would be so cool of them to do.
And that's thankfully not what we've heard. It's just they say more is coming. There's nothing else to do but see whether it comes fast enough, and I hope it comes. I hope it comes faster.
So much, if they just went, yeah, I don't know. Oh.
So, I'm completely at the other end of this. You have to have good characters to hook you into something, I think.
Completely.
Yeah.
There is that's why all my favorite fighting games from back in the day are like, here's a bunch of cool people. You gotta hook on to something, you know?
So like we've talked like at length, like over like ridiculous because the number is small, but like it's actually, to me anyway, a much larger problem is that like League has like a crocodile man and like a sand demon and like a evil scarecrow and like just a bunch of millions of weirdos, right? And every single character on this roster is like a normal looking human with like a weapon.
You need something for the sickos.
Yeah, you need that shit for freaks.
And if someone out there is like a big Echo and Braum like main team happy, then like if someone out there is like, I got my mains, then it's like, that's great. You know,
I have seen those people. I've seen
they're
them. Satisfied.
But no, you don't want to then end up fighting a ton of mirror matches. That gets very dry very quickly, right? The Skullgirls problem, you know, we've discussed, is that Skullgirls had a small roster on launch, and you could pick up to 3 at a time, so you saw that roster 3 times faster than you otherwise would have. Completely agreed. You know, Marvel Rivals is out, and it has a bunch of characters that a bunch of people care about, and they drop new ones every 2 seconds, and it stays being discussed because people are discussing what's going on with Emma Frost right now, and then it'll be Blade, and then it'll be, you know, whatever else is coming. Like,
Does someone have the balls to go up to Tom Cannon and be like, why does your shit suck so bad compared to Marvel Rivals? Just like the most disingenuous version of a real question possible.
Because, I mean, I don't know that. Yeah, like, what's the difference between NetEase and what they've given that project versus what Riot has given this one? I don't. You know. I will say that when he says the part where if the quote is that, hey, they're a new team, that makes sense too, in the sense that, like, okay, they're like, that's a very honest, I guess, like, it sounds like, yeah, we're learning and we fucked up that that part of it. I take that. I'm not given reason to think that that's not true. So I think they're just saying, like, yeah, we're going to try to fix the roster, and there's not much else to get into besides, cool, I hope that's what happens because I like the game otherwise. You know what I mean?
We only have 20 minutes to hit news and emails. Did anything happen this week?
Sure did. Yeah, I'll skip over talking about Phantom Liberty, but that thing's going great. And this Saturday, I'll be at the Spring Overture Montreal Air Dashers fighting game tournament. It'll be streaming on Wooly Versus as well. That's So Mad for short. So tune in at 1 p.m.
Every version of that tournament name is funnier than the last.
They always come up with a new one. So Mad is streaming at 1 p.m. on Saturday. We're running the brackets over on Wooly Versus as well. So tune in. You'll see me and Reggie jumping on commentary for some fighting games. It'll be a good time. Yes. Okay. So Palworld has stated its defense against the lawyers that Nintendo's patents lawyers have filed against them, and their stated defense, there's a lot of different ways they're coming at it, but one that has been quoted is specifically that this lawsuit has no merit because there are games that also have done the exact same thing, and they name drop specifically Rune Factory 5, Titanfall 2, Pikmin 3 Deluxe. There's a whole bunch that they go on that the same things Nintendo is coming after them for. They're like, these other games have done that, right?
Yeah, they're totally right.
In particular, those 3 make it easy to see how a player character can perform an action to release a monster or capture them, like a ball, and fire in the direction by releasing a button. Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Far Cry 5, and Tomb Raider showed that there can be different types of throwable objects. Pocket Souls, Octopath Traveler, Monster Super League, and Final Fantasy XIV made it easy to imagine that one could pick targets on the field, show an indication of a likely capture operation succeeding. So they've basically brought their homework and are going, there's receipts all over the industry, why us? You know?
So, like, I don't know how well this works because, like, I completely agree with their argument. I'm not a lawyer. But it also feels like you getting a speeding ticket and pointing out your window, what about all those guys speeding while the guy's writing you up?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the gist of what they're saying here is that, like, they're trying a bunch of defenses and, you know, we'll see what sticks. But if Nintendo has a very narrow registered series of patent rules that are clearly things that have been in violation in a bunch of other examples, and they're cherry picking Pocket Pair in particular, it lends strength to their defense.
Like, is part of their argument that Nintendo should sue the developers of Pikmin 3 for
yeah. Well, I mean, so yeah, the question is like if Nintendo goes, oh, thanks for the heads up, we are now launching lawsuits on all of the aforementioned games. Titanfall is now getting sued by Nintendo. You know, I don't know, but it was interesting to see that come up as part of their defense.
The less that happens, we do not need more mechanics locked behind patents in games. It's no.
It's ridiculous.
Yep,
it is.
And I don't know. And speaking of that, did you see that this year the patent on the insanity system from Eternal Darkness is now up?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's another thing. That and the Nemesis system things, they never should have been locked behind patents. It's bullpucky.
Yeah, the fact that they got away with that, you know, Bandai Namco got away with loading screen mini games for a long time. Sega took over the arrow pointing you at an objective, like Crazy Taxi.
It's all bullshit.
It's horrible because it's quality of life features being patented by publishers, you know. So yeah, I guess a game can now use the insanity system if they choose to. And I guess fighting Psycho Mantis doesn't really count as that because it's not you, but it is the boss doing it to you. I don't know. There must be some reason why, you know. I mean, certainly other games have messed with the player, but this particular one where it's based on, like, you know, calming down, getting rest, and your mental state affecting, like, everything in general, you know, like, was just like they were allowed to get away with locking that down. And I have to wonder if there were other games that had cool ideas that were like, nah, we got stopped because of the patent. Probably.
Even if it wasn't significantly close to a patent, it can have a chilling effect.
Yeah, so we will see what that means, but fuck that entire process, you know. Quality of life. I want games to borrow from other games as soon as someone figures out something good that can smooth over, you know, or rather, anytime you go back to a game, imagine going back to a third-person shooter that had, like, PS1 no analog aiming, you know, no cover, L1, R1 to turn, and yeah, it just, like, what... Wow. Horrendous, you know, or like Mega Man Legends style, you know. Anyway, what else is going on? Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, they released their RPG, and also Oblivion has released itself as well.
Yeah, why'd they try and Horizon on Expedition 33, man?
And that seems really unfortunate, but they're taking it like LOL by tweeting out, oh my god, it's like Barbenheimer. So they're just like, yeah, it's fine. They're both like, they got ambushed by an unexpected remaster.
I'm so million times more excited for Expedition 33.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
like no question.
Doesn't even compare. Really enjoyed Oblivion back in the day. Like, I was old school Morrowind, and I don't think
I don't understand their shadow dropping logic now, because they shadow dropped Hi-Fi Rush to kill it. I don't think they're trying to do that with Oblivion.
I mean, it feels like an Elder Scrolls shadow drop is just meant to crater whatever's happening around that time frame.
Well, all I can take from it with my gut is that I remember Microsoft was really mad there was no Fallout game to come out alongside the Fallout TV show.
Yep.
Because it'll be a while before the next Fallout game. And my gut of Shadow Drop Oblivion Remaster is, oh my god, Elder Scrolls 6 is so many years away.
There isn't.
It is so many years away.
It's not coming out.
Oh, it's not coming out? Just straight up?
It's just gonna stay in development, and you're gonna be an old man with a long beard down to your toes, and then you'll get a teaser for it, and you'll die. No.
Your soul will exit. You'll.
Yeah, it's not happening in our lifetimes. they're going to keep Todd Howard in suspended animation, just bring him out every 10 years for another
16 times the
Skyrim.
detail.
And he will say, "Leave Jiren to me."
I feel like there have been a lot of open world RPGs that have come out since Skyrim that have massively improved on it in every way. And then I look over at what they're doing with Fallout and how their Fallout games have not improved on any of themselves at all. And like, man, I would be sweating if I was having to make a new Elder Scrolls game.
Freaking Dread Delusion is
awesome.
It's a better Morrowind like than anything Bethesda's done.
Yeah, Dread Delusion's awesome.
So goddamn good.
Is this one?
Kingdom Come Deliverance is like a way better Oblivion than Skyrim ever was.
So this is one of those cases where like the genre has gotten away from the leader of it.
Well, the big problem with Starfield is it was like even shittier Fallout 4. And you're like, what the fuck? Everybody else out there is getting better and better, and like this game's like a genuine step down.
Well, at the very least, Expedition 33 is, again, they seem none too bothered. They also like,
drowning in high praise.
They went teehee at being the best rated game of the year so far. So like, fucking, yeah, good on them. There have been multiple, so we talked a little bit about this earlier, just touched on it, but just like PSA, beware, there are multiple fake beta test scams going on now, and Konami has warned about it for, there's a fake Silent Hill F beta test going on, and CD Projekt is warning of a fake Witcher 4 beta test, where they're basically putting out a fake page where you just sign up and or Zeeting or Skeeting or whatever pages that look like official signups to get your hands on games that are, about to come out or highly anticipated or so. Double check to make sure and verify that those are real if you see any of these things, because you can get your data stolen, so watch out. They were already running this. We started seeing this scam on like YouTube channel. People like different various channels have been getting taken down by fucking crypto shit and fake messages and whatever. But like it's expanding now out to like if you're looking to sign up for these games, so watch out. You see the new NIGHTREIGN Elden Ring character trailer?
Yeah, it's a big boy.
The Raider. I never thought that like earthbending would have a place in this setting, but it looks rad as hell and kind of boss breaking to just
it's like, look, I'm on a high spot and you can't hit me. It seems really good.
The whole thing about like Souls games where they're like, you got to get down there and roll around with the boss and survive and do it the hard way, and then the character's whole bit is like, nah, I'm up here though. Like, how about I just snipe you from high ground?
Is it weird that I'm not interested in NIGHTREIGN?
Well, it depends what you're coming to the Souls games for.
Yeah, it's always been more of a single player kind of experience, farming with a little bit of the co-op on the side. It's just.
I'm not going to play co-op in NIGHTREIGN like ever. I'm going to play the solo version of that game.
I've ignored multiplayer in every Souls game that I've played the entire time. But playing the beta for NIGHTREIGN and just jumping online with people and doing some runs with it, I was like, okay, this is fun. The beta kind of convinced me on the idea, because it's overall the idea that there's like an Elden Ring arcade, experience that is just, right. It's not meant to be the next entry in a full-size FromSoft single-player adventure. It's just meant for if you feel like doing where we drop in, but also parries rolls and fighting the nameless king with a set fast kind of like paced version of the game. I could be in the mood for a 1 hour quick Souls romp without necessarily wanting to restart a whole character in a campaign.
I just want to play the Elden Ring roguelike.
Chalice Dungeons.
Roguelike.
Honestly, I cannot wait. Do something Sekiro related. Because
that could be a while.
Oh my god!
If they do,
that could be a bit.
It could. I'll wait. I got time.
I can't believe
That
they
was-
never did the DLC they were hinting at in Sekiro.
Lies of P as well as God, I loved that one.
More than Bloodborne at Home is what I'm told. Yeah.
Lies of P is great.
It is really, really good. It is probably my favorite non-FromSoft Souls game.
Absolutely.
It nailed it. And one of the things that really, really impressed me about Lies of P is it didn't run out of steam towards the end. Every single new area was like adding in fresh enemies and fresh mechanics and like new enemy types and combinations of enemy types. And it was like, damn, this was just hitting on all cylinders.
Nice. Yeah.
And the
I
really incredibly excellent final boss.
Yeah, that final boss was incredible. Like, and the music.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's on the list for sure. It's been nothing but praise. All right, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a Doom Dark Ages trailer that dropped, and Doom looks cool. It's just funny.
You're gonna shoot demons. You're gonna shoot the devil.
But now these trailers have more plot than ever, and it's just funny because I can never forget the beginning of the first remake or of the first new Doom game, where it's just like, grab story, get it out of my face. I want to fucking kill the demons, And
You're gonna shoot the devil.
Yeah, and I sure hope
that's what Doom is about.
And when we go into these narrative trailers, I hope that like that energy where the Slayer is like, I don't fucking care, shut up. I hope that continues to some degree. But yeah, looks cool.
Ghost of Yotai
Got an announcement, a date.
Yeah, October of this year.
Yep.
I'm hanging on until that gets ported to PC. Then I'll enjoy that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that as well this time. I really enjoyed Tsushima on PC.
So will that be when they announce the third Ghost game then?
Yes, it will.
And this will be to promote it. They'll do the PC release as a fucking late thing. Ay. Well, if they're paying for it, it's an interesting strategy, right? All right, we've only got a couple minutes, so let's wrap up with an email.
If you want to send an email, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. Also, to anybody watching this live, in about an hour, I'm going to start streaming Expedition 33 over at twitch.tv/PatStaresAt.
All right, let's take one over here. Hello, Willardo and Patricio. My name is Jorge, and my question is about my experience with games. The thing is, I have a busy life. I'm a neonatologist working in a NICU. And that's a for realsy proper that's a job.
Doctor, important person.
That's a job. That's a real job. Being a longtime follower of yours, I tend to pick out games that definitely I found spectacular or A+ for my personal enjoyment. That way I can maximize my quality time when I get to play games. But sometimes I can't help but think I'm missing out on something by not playing bad games or cringing throughout a horrible story. You think I'm crazy, or have you people that had this feeling as well? So we just touched on this earlier in the episode. I think watching people play the bad game is enough to get that experience if you would like. I don't know that you need to go spend money on it.
Yeah, suffering for yourself art is overrated.
Yeah. Buy good games and enjoy those, regardless of whether you're watching someone play them. For bad games, you maybe save your money and enjoy the suffering remotely.
Yeah, I don't think you're missing out, man. I wouldn't worry about it. You should just spend all of your time doing good things. Controversial statement, I know.
Do you dive into bad games from time to time, Casey?
Yes, but I don't play too many bad games. The last genuinely bad experience I had was trying Concord.
Oh.
Yeah,
and then the fates agreed with you.
That was not good.
Oh, you're one of the chosen.
That, there's a lot of, I'm one of the people who played both Concord and Battleborn.
Oh wow,
that is.
Battleborn was actually okay. Concord.
Yeah, it just
was
got eaten
not
by
fun.
Overwatch.
You have accomplished
Yeah.
something. I don't know what, but
I don't know what it is either.
but that is
Did you play
wow.
EA's dead MOBA Dawngate?
Nope.
Oh, no one has.
No, I do think you do need to mix things up a bit. Like, I don't think you necessarily have to play a bad game to appreciate a good game, but like, mix things up a little, play something a little janky or a little rough around at the edges. It's always nice.
Yeah.
Like that game I was talking about earlier, Tower of Kalamanvo. It is a very dedicatedly old school experience. It's not going to be for everybody, but there's a demo. You can try it. It might be for you. It might be fun. You might like it. Might have some of the stuff kind of rub you the wrong way. It might be a bit abrasive, but it is a fun game. And I always recommend playing a variety, you know, not stick with any one kind of thing, because makes, like, if I stuck playing the same type of game, I would get bored.
For
you know
sure.
what that reminds me of? You ever see these content creator thumbnails that are just like, games just aren't fun anymore. There's no good games out, and it's a screenshot of Call of Duty or Battlefield.
Uncharted.
And you go to the channel, and literally all they play is Call of Duty or Battlefield.
Quadruple A only. Yeah, 100%. I think as well, we're in a position that is so because of the old channel and because of the fact that, like, coming from QA, we had that let's celebrate the bugs energy, which then meant bad became good, and overall created a thing where finding the bad was a cause for celebration and fun and popping off and stuff. Like, there was a bit of a culture created around that, you know, from the old days. And so having that be something you can do with friends, almost like watching a bad movie, is a fun thing I think you can do. You know, if you're going to play a bad game, if you're going to subject yourself to it, do so with friends, you know, on a Friday night, maybe get some drinks and just subject yourself to it together with the safety of strength in numbers, you know? And
yeah. It's like when I took people to see The Greasy Strangler, when they did a screening of that in my local cinema. That's not a movie you just go to see. That's a movie you inflict on other people.
There you go. There you go. Right.
Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I have not.
Yeah.
Oh, dear God, help me.
All right.
I'm sorry. Go check out The Greasy Strangler. It's horrible.
Okay, I'll put it on the list of bad movies to watch with the wife. Greasy Strangler.
Casey, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Sorry if I was a little quiet when you were like getting into the real fighting game grognard kind of like into the minutia. It's like I found it fascinating.
Not at all.
Nothing to add.
No, that you're fine. I mean, it just happens to be a week where two big ones released that we've been waiting on a while, and we got our hands on them. Any week, it could just be random, but it happens to be one of those things, you know? It would have been the same if, like, Devil May Cry, something related to that were to happen, or anything else. So
I think it's important to have somebody around sometimes to remind us that nobody gives a shit about fighting games.
There you go.
I give a shit, but just not a lot about the more modern ones. My tastes will always be the old school.
There's no.
See, you're right.
Yeah, and thus, Pat, there's no reason to ever get excited ever, and let's just
don't you fucking dare.
And let's just doomer on everything. Let me hang it up as I'm streaming them this weekend. God damn it! All right, we're out of here, everybody. Thank you.
Have a good week, everybody.
Take care and thank you.